Alright folks, welcome back. Thanks for watching that break. People are inquiring if we have a new sponsor on the channel. I don't know where you'd get that idea from. I am sadly just the biggest Subway fanboy. There's no sponsorship, there's no hype with this. It's just a silly picture. But you know what? I'm moving in a couple of days, and I'm very excited because not having lived in the city, there's not really any 24-hour anythings out in the country. Like, there's just not enough people for traffic to justify like a night shift, and that makes sense. So it was so crazy to me when I was walking home from the airport after going to San Jose to check out the Corsair headquarters. It's like 1 a.m. and I'm walking near the subway that's got an open sign, and I'm like, what? And it says 24/7. I'm like, I have a 24-hour subway 3 minutes from my new house. Oh, I was like so happy.
I'm so happy for you.
I'm sad though because right now I've got the perfect setup to walk to Subway. If I just get a sandwich and no chips, nothing weird, like I actually burn off like the exact amount of calories that are in that sandwich. It works out nicely. 3 minutes away, yeah. I'm just gonna be eating ham Sammies all day and not burning any calories.
You get the Sammies?
What?
Sammies are like a fun new word for like a sandwich.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. What?
Oh, but like they're like a type of sandwich, aren't they? Like they're like the flatbread things.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Aren't they?
I just thought it was another fun way to say sandwich.
Okay, well, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Thank you, Zombie Girl, for that additional commentary. It was really appreciated. But moving on.
You're welcome.
We are in the lobby for Curious Passage. So these guys are going to open with, again, one of the resurrected maps from the Korean tournaments. Also got the tweet out saying the next best of 7 HeroMarine versus Snoot TVZ on the way. And also, this question was asked in chat. I did answer it in chat, but I want to answer it on stream as well because I think it's a very valid question that will affect not just us here on BaseTradeTV, but other streamers you guys enjoy. If you are a Twitch Prime sub or have Twitch Turbo, it used to work that if you had ad block, you wouldn't give the impression, but they changed it, and now Twitch just takes a grand tally, like, oh, there's 84 people in chat that have Twitch Prime, and they just apply it like that. They don't actually do like an individual check anymore. So if you are Twitch Prime subbed, just by being in chat, you actually help out broadcasters a ton, whether you're using ad block or otherwise. Now, of course, we would appreciate it if you guys didn't use ad block, but you know, to each their own. It's the internet. It's a dangerous world. Yada yada yada.
It's a dangerous place. You need ad blocker.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. All right, brand new best of 7 kicking up. Before we get into these intros, though, thank you very much to all the Starcraft badness. 2-month resub says, I should have been subbed about a year earlier. Thanks, BaseTradeTV, for keeping the bestest esport alive.
Hey.
Ain't nothing but a thing, baby girl. We are getting into game number 1, though. And in the bottom right, we have the blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. It's Snoot.
In the top left is the red Terran. It's HeroMarine.
All right, so we've seen this map many times. Again, the naturals here don't seem so crazy. What I am really curious about, though, is the way... First off, HeroMarine and Snoot is going to be an interesting matchup, just like in and of itself. But I think neither of them are really the type of player to do anything too crazy. Like, HeroMarine, I would say, on a scale of like 1 to 10, as far as like likelihood to do 3-Rax Reaper, is already on like a hard 3, maybe? So I would love if this was a really unconventional and he bust out like a bunch of really just gross builds here for the map test tournament, because those are the types of things we do want to see tested. Like, no way do you want to have a map get to the ladder and then realize later it's so broken for Reapers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, at this point, I think the last Team Liquid map contest, they forgot to take into account Liberators once or twice. Or maybe that was one before it, I don't remember.
That was that one map, Moonlight Madness, I think was the first time Liberators actually were witnessed to be a problem.
Moonlight Madness also had that tank spot.
Moonlight Madness had a lot of problems.
Good times. But it had an amazing intro. Yeah, so there's that there's that whole section. I think at this point people have learned or remember to take into account Liberators and Reaper eligibility, I suppose. It's really difficult though to always take into account all of these things, but I think these are easier once you remember like in your checklist. It's things like tank positioning that I think is still what like you have to have people test for. I think that's a little more complicated. But yeah, Reapers are generally just like don't give too many spaces to hop up on and don't put the natural and the main so close together with those hop up points, and you're usually pretty okay. But you always want the ability of, well, that makes it sound very biased. You usually want the ability of the Reaper to actually get into the base. So whether that's a back door or just at least one ledge, that's usually good for maps. Like, Habitation Station kind of sucks for Reapers, and what do we have now? Proxima Station also sucks for Reapers. So it's possible not to have a ledge for them. It's usually preferable. HeroMarine does have a ledge on this map too, by the way. He's just not using it. He doesn't care what Snoot's doing in the main base, because Snoot almost always macros.
I mean, I don't really like how you felt like it felt like you were trying to stick it to him in a way by saying that, but it is an accurate statement. He's a guy who likes his macro game. That much is for certain. But hey, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, Mosaic69.
Hey.
Are these? Oh no, those are just lights. I thought this was like a hybrid from behind for a second. That weirded me out.
Suddenly, like the first time this map gets at 30 minutes, a hybrid pops out, and you're like, oh shit!
Right? Again, for those who haven't seen this up to this point, maybe you're just tuning in. This map's really unique and interesting because it has no middle pathway. And I think that, for me, is what has sold this on being a very different map. I don't really care that there's weird paths or the destructible rocks. Like, honestly, none of this really matters. It just seems like fluff. The fact that this map alone has no middle path is what really makes it intriguing to me.
Yeah.
And that could be really good for people like HeroMarine. Like, if you're dropping all over the place, you're not limited by terrain, so you're not worried about a middle part of the map anyways. Just might be a little bit harder for Snoot to get across the map, for example. He's going to be elevatoring some Hellions up in a moment here. There is a lot of dead space in the main. We talked about this before. Like, it's actually, I think even Zerg with Overlord coverage would still struggle to have full and clear vision of everything.
Clever. Yeah, it's a pretty large map with a lot of dead space for sure. So the armory is also on the way. So if Lings are already in position, which they are, you shouldn't drop the Hellions. There we go. And then you can just follow up with armor.
If you just get there a little bit quicker.
That's a little dangerous. If Snoot had sent them all to the farthest mineral patch, he might have been in trouble.
Yo, everyone in chat's talking about Catalina being the best intro of all time. I'm telling you, I'm really proud of Abyssal Reef and Paladino Terminal, okay? They feel like the best map intros I've ever done. But 4 Hellions on the left side transforming into those Hellbats, walking in the front looking to cause a bit of a distraction, and maybe as he makes some noise, then HeroMarine's able to find a way in with this medevac drop. But for now, Snoot does have to pull the Queens over.
There's already Banlings. Good splits to take up as much as possible there. Oh, he saves 2 of the Banelings. Oh.
But as he gets to the main, he does manage to turn these into Hellbats.
Yeah, I was talking to the drones mostly, but even the Ling should have known they weren't going to tango with that. So this is where it's clever for HeroMarine, because I do think the additional Hellbats in the main is a very different thing to do. Liberator also distracts the Queens, and Queens right now are the only thing able to deal with Hellbats while they're in the mineral lines.
I love this.
Really well.
Well, so here's why I love this, though, right? This isn't like, okay, it killed 14 drones, so it was cost effective. HeroMarine just... Oh, who's that? Thank you for this. HeroMarine just did this thing where Snoot plays really queen heavy. So every version of every drop or Hellbat attack we see, you watch 8 to 10 queens push it off, and it looks hilarious. But by splitting them up in 3 different directions... Oh, how did that not pick that up? By splitting them into 3 different directions like that, Snoot was only able to fight with like 2 to 3 queens at a time instead of his regular 10.
Yeah.
So that got a lot of good damage done. It pulled him apart. I love those moves out of HeroMarine, and I feel like this would probably work against other Zergs, obviously, but this is almost felt tailored to Snoot.
Thank you to Smokey the Bandit for 500 bits, by the way. Thanks for being awesome. No, you. But yeah, I agree. It did help against the Heavy Queen style, but it also just helped against Snoot's other, like, it is impenetrable because he goes for a lot of queens, but it's also just because he's like really well versed in like calmly reacting to all the typical builds. The Banelings are right on time. There is just enough Lings, and if HeroMarine had gone forward with all of his Hellbats, even though there was like 8 of them, he would have died. He would have just done no damage, and Snoot was expecting to do that, to defend like that. So to mix it up worked really well. HeroMarine gets a nice start to the game, not devastating like I just need to A move to win, obviously, but it's a nice start. Snoot's powered up real hard though. I think he delays his layer like the tiniest little bits. He gets a 4th base. drones is going to go into roaches, which is his prerogative. I don't really have many opinions on whether you go roaches or mutas on this map, but I feel like mutas, there's a lot of dead space, might be good. Roaches are never bad either. And Snoot does seem to sometimes prefer roaches.
Alright, well, as the army comes in, Comet Shell's not quite done, but Stim going to be enough to clean up tumors for the time being. HeroMarine's also been pretty quick to put on walls.
Oh, sure. What else are you going to do? Sliding those.
Yeah.
Snoot takes the base to the right, which is what we talked about with Denver. I think this is going to be the better path of expanding, is to the right side. It's a little more complicated against drops than Theron, but I think it's better.
So what's interesting about this, first off, low health debris, 1,000 health, 1 armor. You could actually open these rocks up if you need to pretty easily. I think it's interesting, not because it's necessarily a gold or not, and it does suck that it's only got 1 gas, of course. But I feel like you're not going to have a rally easily funneling through these little cracks or going all the way around to the north side. Whereas down here, it's a wide open engagement area, and sure, it's a more regular base, but it's definitely one that's, I think, a lot easier for HeroMarine to access.
Decent focus fire on the furthest medevac back. There's another one! Close. Okay, invitation bit's almost done. Upgrades have finished up. HeroMarine will have faster upgrades, and if he does break down this debris, he might have a decent push towards Snoot's 4th. But his drops are getting cleaned up or denied. He doesn't really have any tanks, as he starts it only just now. So his push would only be bio, and that's not too scary. So if he even does push.
Part of why I was going to note the walls earlier, too, is that this... Oh, this one right here. This map does have this weird sort of difference between your main and your third, but what I find really interesting is HeroMarine, if he had actually put these depots connecting downwards, he'd actually have a full wall. But unfortunately, you still wait for links to just kind of veer off to the side and run into that third. Like, this actually isn't that well protected. In fact, I don't even think that's a full wall off.
You think so, but yeah.
New map, new terrain. We've seen weirder things. Cactus Valley has a really weird like wall at your natural, for example. But
yeah, you're right.
Maybe going to see an example of this. Link's going to see that there's a lot here. Could just veer off to that right. Not going to, though. Does he not know about the third? He does.
I should. I guess they get trapped, but I think that's just him not thinking about it. A big ol' push to the middle is only bio right before 2-2, but the infestors aren't here, or they don't have energy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it gets focused down, but that is also a nice focus fire out of HeroMarine. See it launching crossbows left and right, but the big part of this is still killing those infestors because the tank gonna have Woodmine go off on the lings. That's actually not too bad of a trade there on the exit, but I was gonna say for Snoot, this style, it works out well with Ravagers, sure, but it only becomes really broken once the infestors get involved. So the fact that he already sniped off 1 or 2 infestors has been great. Snoot doesn't go for pathogen glands and didn't in this game either, so those new infestors aren't gonna have any energy. Those medevacs were unfortunate to lose like that. Yeah,
you do want a lot of medevacs against roaches and infestors. But Tank sieges up and now has +1. He goes into the army to dodge the corrosive biles, which...
the 2-2 though, it's doing so much damage.
Tempting. Yeah, especially with his upgrades. Still loses his army, but takes a fair fight.
Well, a big part of this too is, like, as soon as you get through the roaches, like, the roaches have the armor, they've got the health, they can actually soak the hits. We saw those Ravagers start melting. It's interesting though, because the tanks, actually, you brought that up, his late tank production, and he's lost the ones he's putting in the front line. Those are going to be what zones out the infestors. So for Snoot, the same way that HeroMarine was focusing down the infestors and that was good, Snoot picking off the tanks is just as good and just as hurtful to HeroMarine.
I kind of wish... So I've been talking about how I think it's better for the Zerg, especially to expand off to the right side, because there's just not going to be an attack coming from there. But I think if the game goes to 4 or 5 bases, that might be where the other races should expand if the Zerg is expanding this direction, you know? Like, actually react to their expands, because those rocks are easily broken, and you would be hitting crucial bases more immediately than if he continued down the south path.
So what you're saying is don't yin and yang it.
Yeah, I guess so. But there's there's benefits to either one, because the benefit here is that you can drop very right side of the base and attack the very left, and you can split Zerg army apart.
That was a kill, not a cancel, by the way, so nicely done.
Yeah. Dude's banking 2,500 minerals.
He's not sweating so bad, yeah, but he is hurting on that gas because this was only like 1 geyser per each of these bases, right? This one's a little bit better, but... Okay, scans ahead. He sees the burrowed infestors. Yeah, casters that can cast well undetectable are really cool.
No, guys. I really like the way that HeroMarine's been playing, by the way. Like, Snoot may end up winning this game, but that's because Snoot has been a monster, you know, as a recent. HeroMarine beat Nurchia once with similar type of, like, very clean macro, and that was very impressive. So, win or lose here, I just think he's been playing actually a very good game. Unfortunately, this Ling attack, I was gonna say, could get a cancel on that building command center, but it's AI to the planetary instead.
The Ikvi Cannon, or Ibix, what's it actually called? Ibix Cannon. Stupid name.
Ultras are on the way. The infestors are spotted.
Oh, fungals are nice.
And he would love to get the tanks on top of those. HeroMarine has been messing up in one department, or, well, missing, rather, not messing up, but medevac production, because he lost a couple early on, and he built Liberators, so we'll have to see he goes back into medevacs. But this is no longer, I think, well, I don't know, like, 4 Liberators, 2 tanks. The Ultras, they're going to have chitinous plating and +3 armor soon. I think they could break this, but HeroMarine's going to try and trade as well as possible.
I love the Spore Crawlers. They were a good thought out of Snoot with things like Liberators and low medevacs, but...
Oh, Queens are going down. These are important transfuses.
I like the Burrow instead of just giving them away for free, but yeah, those Ultras... If they had like 9 Queens, maybe they live forever type thing, but there's only like 3 transfuses for this.
Yeah, one just gets sniped a bunch of Liberators.
Oh,
+3 isn't quite done.
Oh,
Tightness is, though, but they're just getting torn apart, and Snoot might not have a good enough army.
I had to mouse over and check the armor. I'm like, do they really have any armor? That was ridiculous.
Yeah, right?
But I guess
this might be too much of an abusive position now.
There's Ghost coming up next, which is really interesting. EMPs for the Infestors will be nice, but Banley Nest goes down. Not that he's really using it.
Here comes the might of the army, but yeah, not a lot of transfuses even going down. Yeah, he can't even reach the Liberators. I think he got caught without Corruptors.
I mean, the thing about this is
the ground army.
Snoot will keep this from pushing in to kill him right now, but Snoot lost so many Ultralisks through this. That bank of gas has been kind of exhausted. And while he's still got like 3,000 minerals, he doesn't actually have that much larva. So flooding Lings, supply capped, like, I don't really think Snoot's in that great of a spot. Even though HeroMarine's the one that's down in supply.
Yeah, it's interesting. So he did manage to break it enough. He didn't fully break the Liberators, as some of them retreated, but, you know, he took out the ground army, so that still ended up being a good hold. And Snoot still has a much bigger bank, but, like, if HeroMarine gets his gases back up, gets his minerals continuing, and takes smart engagements, he could get to a very, very good army with Ghosts and Liberators. If he trades out like here, though, with, you know, no Ghosts and only some Liberators, well, then he might just get overwhelmed.
Well, the Ultra's coming once again. The downside to not having Lings with this is there's nothing soaking the random Liberator shots, so the Ultras ate all of that on the way in, but they do actually take out a good chunk of HeroMarine's army. As he falls back, I mean, he did expand. He's got a new base, but it's a low-yield base. There's only 6 mineral patches and 1 gas, so not exactly a great expansion.
Yeah, well. Maybe the focus of this game will go to the right side now. The rocks are broken down. So HeroMarine could maybe expand to the very bottom. Unfortunately, the gold bases are in the top right. That's how this map is set up. So Snoot's getting all the benefit from that.
Well, he goes in for the attack towards the 3rd. This actually isn't that pertinent to defend. There is a starport here, which is kind of annoying, but you can lift the CCs if necessary. Planetary is going to actually be awesome to try and hold on to with these Liberators. This is a great fight to try and take as HeroMarine. He will push Snoot back.
Nice drop is going to kill. I mean, Snoot has a huge bank, but it's not like he's on 5 fully mining bases, you know? So killing hatcheries might end up being important.
You know what's actually kind of scary? HeroMarine has had an astonishingly low medevac count for the majority of this game. He just lost the rest of what he had, so there are no medevacs in play right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he realizes at the very least. But he's hurting, and he's hurting on gas. I noticed this like 2-3 minutes ago, but I guess he didn't mind it. But he was low on gas, and he never took his 4th base gases.
Yeah, and that's gonna really. I was so focused on Snoot's gas for the majority of this game, but Snoot's kind of good to go now. He's caused more than enough damage. The fact that he's getting on top of HeroMarine's gases at this 3rd, well, on the already limited gas situation we just described. I mean, unfortunately, I think he's starting to just fall apart. Snoot's just gonna remake everything and anything he loses on the front lines. HeroMarine can't. Barely afford a medevac.
That was a bit questionable of an engagement from Snoot, kind of put something in there, but yeah, you're right. Snoot could just remake anything here. He didn't lose that top right base, and he didn't lose that many drones, so he's still absolutely dominating in the income. And HeroMarine's going to have, I think, trouble defending his 5th and his 3rd.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't really have to defend his 3rd, and he might just want to give that up in favor of using the choke against Snoot. But he needs an expansion somewhere.
So, it makes sense that the money game would be in Snoot's favor on account of the fact he's had golds for the majority of this game. I didn't realize how much until we just looked at it. Like, that's not like dipping hit by 100 minerals. That's dipping hit by 1,500 minerals per minute.
Mm-hmm. HeroMarine also, because like he continued taking engagements and did not have that much of a bank, never got the ghosts. So his army isn't truly scary, and his Liberator count has also been destroyed too. So this looks like it's going to be game.
You know, I gotta give it up though. Like, HeroMarine and Snoot playing on a brand new map that they've probably not practiced like at all. I thought HeroMarine has some really good tactics. I thought Snoot's macro still showed to be pretty damn good. This was a great first game in my opinion.
Yeah, I like this map. I think it's an interesting design, and the cool spaceship aspect aside, I think it's also like understandable, I suppose, at a glance, yet cool as well, you know? Like, yeah. I could see this being a ladder map. Oh god, why? Wow, HeroMarine just goes right for it.
HeroMarine, just without hesitation, demands Eremita. This, for those who don't remember the map names associated with it, this is that one that's got the really stupid natural and the really short rush distance. What was it, like 18 seconds? Maybe that's what he's got in mind though. Maybe this is where he's gonna bust out that 3-Rax Reaper. I said it's a hard 3 out of 10, but it's still a number on the board.
I didn't even really think about looking because you're gonna PVZ for it, so maybe he did, and it's amazing for it. You know, with such short rush distances, it might just be that Reapers are too good in the early game. Like, it's the real abuse of Reapers is usually the hop up, hop down mechanic. But like, if it's gonna be such a short distance that you're basically proxying by putting them in your main, like, are grenades just too good in the early game? Like, I don't know.
I didn't even think about it like that, but yeah, like everything you build is basically proxied when you've got rush distances like this. I would argue even one step further. Maybe not even the Reapers. Just go straight for the tank.
Like a one. Oh my god. Bring back the one base pushes. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm thinking like Goody. I'm thinking like you build that bunker outside that front. I don't know. Like, I can see some disgusting stuff potentially with these rush distances. But anyways, loading in now to game number 2. This guy is down a map in the series, so it was his choice. In the bottom right, we have the red Terran player, HeroMarine.
In the top leftish, it's the blue Zerg Snoot.
For those who don't know why we're talking about these bases being silly and stupid, there's low yield in the natural, so you've only got 6 patches to work with. It is kind of a bit wonky because, like, even if you do take the back base, which is more sealed off, it's still pretty quick to access from the middle of the map. The one thing we noted though is there are rock towers you can knock down to extend the reach, but it doesn't extend it by much. I thought this was impassable grass. I think you did too. Right. So when the attack kind of came in, we're like, oh, these aren't walls.
This part. Yeah, I thought that was more rocks. So
well, like, what does this even wall off? Like, for me, I thought this would be so hyped that the rock towers extend the rush distance, so you have to do this giant S in the map. Instead, it doesn't do anything because you just walk through all this grass.
All it does is provide a little bit of terraforming. Like, I agree. I don't think it's really that important. It's not a 3-Rax Reaper. I was looking though, because like, why not? Since we talked about the idea of it, there's only one. No, there's 3 jump up spots. Yeah, so there looks to be a specific Reaper made jump up spot that is kind of like a little ledge, kind of the.
Hang on, I'll get your camera up. I don't see where you're looking.
I'm looking at Zergs. Like this thing.
Ah, it's like an open gate, yeah. It's not really. I guess we're used to seeing like little cliff faces, and not so much like open gates. But you're right. I think that's the
only spot because everything else is gated. Yeah. Okay. So it is not that great for Reapers in that aspect. So I don't know why HeroMarine chose this. It might just be for the tank push you're talking about. Because if they're both gonna play nice and get to expansions and not just counterattack with Lings and win, then it could possibly be just a really strong, like, rally for the Terran.
Apparently, we need to check our donations. I'll get to that after this game because I'll have to go through my email. On account of the fact I can't change Twitch alerts while I'm streaming for base trade. Back attack with these lings are going to find the SCV. A little bit unprotected, unfortunately. No Reaper as Marines were made.
Owen, you good for the 2-month resub? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. If we see this map go 2-3 bases, I would be shocked. The Roach Warren is on the way, and while that usually would be a very aggressive timing, I just feel like it's defensive.
Okay, it wasn't our PayPal. Sorry, I had to actually go look through this. I guess we missed it. I'm gonna guess this was an ad break. Leoman, one of the newest mods on the channel, donated $10. Says the stream has to see this one. And he wants a YouTube link that I can't link because it's on Twitch alerts. So I guess link it in chat, dude. I don't know. $10 that go towards the mega tournament fundraiser. Thank you very much, Leoman. Sorry that we missed that.
Okay, so Hellion opener from HeroMarine. Maybe even looking quite similar to the last game. There's the Armory. I think it's a little different. The Armory looks paired up more with the Medivac, so it might just be that frontal push. What's weird, though, is where he's going to attack into with it. Because the third isn't down, and he doesn't know that. But even if it wasn't and he did know that, like, would he attack into the main or the natural? I have no idea. But what HeroMarine also doesn't know is that the Roach Warren was down, and it built more than just a handful of roaches. It built 9 and a couple of routers on the way. He'll see it now, and that's just suspicious. So he's gonna have to try and defend. Cyclone's on the way out, but this is a good build by Snoot against someone who went Hellions. I don't really. I really thought HeroMarine was gonna play to the map, which. We thought maybe Reapers or tanks, but at the very least, you have to play with units that can kind of do better with being attacked at any time, if that makes sense.
I just want to point out how drastically different this attack would be right now if this was the other spawn location. HeroMarine would have lost his reactor and only 1 Cyclone would have come out. With 2 Cyclones and the amount of units he has, he easily crushes Snoot's attack.
Yeah, easily. Question.
Well, the Cyclone shouldn't have been sitting on the ramp. But still, the point is 2 Cyclones go ham
he does deal
against
with
what's
it.
here.
Yeah, he does deal with it. So, yeah, the Hellbats ended up, they just were enough, especially the cool little pick up and drop tactic. With the Cyclones coming out as soon as he saw it was on the way, he manages to hold. But he still took damage in that I think he stops maybe at building SCVs. And he can't really do his attack that he wanted anymore. And even if he did, there'd obviously be roaches. There's even queens. So
that pickup micro is sick.
So, yeah, this is what's going to be, like, super difficult about this map for any race, is just making sure to have formidable units or enough units to defend almost at any point, Like, there's not going to be a lot of situations where you barely see the attack incoming 10 seconds away, because it's just, that's like basically their base at that point. So, that's what's going to be difficult.
I'm wondering, is HeroMarine treating us to some mech, or is this just because of the opening he's responding in turn?
I do wonder.
I really would love to see this play out mech and see how that looks on a map like this, but with Varric swapping back over, it's even less likely.
And there's more Varrics on the way. I was kind of on the edge, like, not just because I'm anti-mech or whatever, but just more like, I see these units now. Like, the Hellions as is not scary, but Hellbats are a little scary. Cyclones are obviously, pretty good too. But Banshees are like the ultimate early game survival unit. Like, you're not gonna die, hopefully, if you get a couple of Banshees, especially if they manage to scout the attack incoming. So for me, it kind of felt like maybe this is just a safe thing to do, as well as for a little bit of harassment, of course.
Well, thank you, Go CZ, Go Keezy, however you pronounce that. Thank you for that sub. Let us know if you want us to say your name differently.
Thanks, Sub.
Thanks, Sub. Yo, I just upped to stats this stream the other day. I love stats fighting. It's gotta be like one of my favorite new MMOs. Have you seen it? There you go. Put it in chat. It's so cute.
That is so Korean.
It really is.
Oh my god.
Stats fighting is like one of my favorite emotes on Twitch right now. I'm just gonna be completely honest.
Okay. So HeroMarine goes for even 3 Banshees. And this feels kind of like a really weird attack. Yeah. He goes for combat shields first, not stim, and this is just trying to play, like, go with the flow, I guess. But it might be something that works.
This, by the way, I gotta say, like, Tumor is gonna play a huge importance when it comes to scouting, like, up the attacks on this map. But 2 Banshees covered with the tank like this, 4 Cyclones, like, Snoot is gonna have a hell of a time defending. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's just a weird push, man.
It is,
Snoot.
but this is the Ravagers can't pick what they want to do. If they could, obviously, in perfect world, they'd dive in and just pick off that tank, right? But the tank picks off the Spore Crawler. That opens up more area in which these Banshees can go ham, because there's not really any anti-air. All the Queens are at the top of the ramp, so these Ravagers are just going to slowly get picked apart by the Banshees if HeroMarine knows what he's doing.
He was waiting for 1-1, I believe, because he does have a decent army. I think a lot of the Zergs might have overdrone the tiniest little bit.
But still, it's 3 Banshees, right? Like, there's nothing really shooting up at this point. Okay, now the Queens finally come down.
I got a couple, well, 1 or 2 chunks fuses, and the Banshees will have to retreat because they're worried the Roaches might counterattack. But HeroMarine, okay, he didn't sacrifice that much economy, and in fact, they're still both on pretty even, but he did sacrifice any sort of follow-up stim timing, because he went combat shields first and went 3 Banshees first, too. So, even 4 Banshees. More Banshees, more better.
Yeah. I guess HeroMarine is going to be expanding this way, which, again, you do have like these rocks kind of covering it, but even if the rocks aren't here, this ramp is still wide, it's open, and this is a pretty easy rush to the side type deal.
It is, yet you can see why... Oh, fire. Maybe Zergs wouldn't even have that many lings to use. Like, if you go speed lane, bane lane, and mutas, if you go like that composition on this map, you're just gonna get pushed to death, I think.
Yeah,
that's not gonna give you a lot of time. So you might just skip speed every single time and only go for roaches, being the beefier units. And
he never rebuilt the wall. He never even raised the 1 depot he had. This was a big mistake out of HeroMarine. He's really lucky Snoot didn't do more damage with that.
Two tanks, or a tank for 2 roaches, not too bad, but yeah, I think maybe speedlings just might not be an issue in this matchup because you just won't think about going for them. But no stim makes this drop look really stupid. Still manages to get a queen, maybe even 2.
Well, it's not a terrible trade if you had not lost the medevac for it, right? You just like leave the Marines to their own devices. Snoot not liking this choke. He's gonna open up that ramp and not have to deal with that again. Banshee's gonna go back. She's up to 10 kills. I mean, what is the overall kills so far this game? It's not been super high in the worker count, which is just so funny because this is such a drastically different game than what we saw with the PvZ earlier. I will say though, no matter how good this TvZ game looks, this map just, there's no way I can see this being viable for Protoss against Zerg.
Yeah, Protosses are gonna have to be the real stress tests. Again, like, I don't know, I thought Harsum had a plan, honestly, to defend his natural, but I can see maybe there might be better plans for Protosses, but they still might not be enough to compensate rather for the situation they're put in because of the map. We just don't know. I think it's too bad for Protoss, though, in my personal opinion. But this game is not looking so great for HeroMarine. While, again, like, his economy isn't so bad and his army supply isn't so bad, he's only at +1, and Sim only just finished. He's been building a lot of Banshees, too, so his medevac count isn't as impressive, I guess, as it could be. But, yeah, definitely about those upgrades. 2-2 versus just 1. Just 1.
Just 1. Just 1. Well, again, if this was something like mech, maybe you can argue getting away with it, but I mean, so little emphasis on the tanks, the upgrades just not being there for Terran, and the late stim, there's just so much working against HeroMarine. And by the way, Snoot is already halfway to a hive, so it doesn't stop there. It gets worse as time goes on. The Infestors also have a lot of energy banked up. I mean, yeah, the army supplies might be looking a little bit similar, but they are not.
And I get an M Flynn 00 for the Twitch Prime sub.
Whoop, whoop. I was listening to that Twitch Prime action.
Yeah. I don't... HeroMarine's gonna have 1 push, and it might be decent just because, like, tanks get into a good position.
So, look at that. Combination Buell isn't taking the natural the way he did. This actually mines out almost faster than the main did.
Oh. It's like, what are you looking at? Yeah, that's kind of funny. Kind of gross, too. Anyway... so HeroMarine might have a decent push to Snoot's 5th, for instance, because they've expanded right next to each other, which seems like it wouldn't be too favorable for Snoot. I don't know. He's also expanding over to the far left, so that makes sense. But HeroMarine will have 5 tanks, you know, so like in a choke, they'll be pretty good.
Yeah, but Snoot's got Corrosive Vials, which are cool too.
If he can reach, I'm sure. But if HeroMarine's gonna wait for 2-1-1, which is like really far away, then Snoot wisely goes for Broodlords too, by the way, because I think he realizes like he's gonna go for a lot of tanks if he possibly can, and while Ultras might still just be enough, it's much safer to go for Broodlords.
What if the new Terran meta becomes? It's not going to. I'll make this clear. This is some riff logic coming at you, so nobody take this seriously. What if the new Terran meta becomes the tank's sitting here, right? Corsair Bow's about to rain down. You can't possibly unsiege it in time, so you throw like 3 Reaper grenades to kick it over a couple inches, keep it safe from the Corsair Bows.
Be a good reason to make mid-game Reapers.
That misclick on the barracks isn't such a misclick anymore.
Haha, gotcha. Well, 2-1-1, my bad, is almost done. Fortunately, Snoot is totally prepared.
Oh my god.
Grossest fungal ever.
No, yesterday was the grossest fungal ever. Nothing's gonna top that. That was a Hulk. So, god damn it. The Medivacs were a problem for HeroMarine before, but that was because he was producing Liberators, and a lot of them. This time around, he did make a lot of Medivacs, and the investment in the Medivacs was great, but having lost so many already.
There's Broodlords already. Like, HeroMarine's gonna be like, okay, this push can work. I can totally do this. And like 5 Broodlords come in. God.
He's bleeding out left and right. Snoot's got no problem trading these fungals, no problems trading energy for units like this. While HeroMarine's supply still holds up decently, again, it's, GG.
G at the Broodlords, man. Just like Wings Liberty.
GG Nords.
Yeah.
Alright, folks. Well, that's going to give HeroMarine another map pick, but it's going to send us to a quick commercial break. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Alright, Paradisia. It's going to be the next map up here for Game 3.
Cool beans. It is a paradise, very pretty. Maybe that's what HeroMarine is hoping for. Snoot gets distracted by the scenery.
Maybe. I just made a really stupid shit post on Twitter. See if
Yes,
it pays off.
Yes, you did.
Game number 3 kicking off. Oh, we gotta run ads too. Whoops. I forget about that. Otherwise, you guys will see them over gameplay footage, and we don't want to have that happen. All right, game number 3 kicking off. Spawning here in the bottom right, we got the blue Zerg. It's Liquid Snoot. Up 2-0 in this best of 7.
In the top left is the red Terran. It is HeroMarine.
All right, so HeroMarine's finding himself in a bit of a tough spot. A bit of a sticky wicket.
What?
A dilly pickle. And not getting wins necessarily versus Snoot here. But he has done a really good job, I think, of testing these maps, and getting to see Ermita go beyond 2 minutes was not something I ever thought we would have seen. So that was cool. I don't know what he'll bring for this one. This is the second time we're seeing Paradisia, of course.
Right.
This is basically above ground Abyssal Reef.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, the last time we saw it, it wasn't all in from Denver in a PVZ, so we haven't really seen it in the macro sense quite yet, and that's where the base we're looking at is going to be, I guess, evaluated, here we go, by the players as they try and take what, should be their thirds. I don't know if you take a third somewhere else, then this is a fourth, but maybe. Yeah. Snoot has had some very interesting expansion tactics just on the maps we see in like daily use. So I'm kind of looking forward to where he thinks the better expansions are going to be.
Well, at the same time, I'm curious to see how HeroMarine plays this out. I think it's not really like Zerg and Terran, funny enough, are the two races I don't really think I care so much where they expand for. Like, let's say you're Terran beyond 3 bases. You take whatever base you want as long as you turn it into a planetary. And for Zerg, as long as you've got enough creep spread in the general vicinity, you can go wherever you'd like as well. So this map has some weird outlying 4ths and maybe 5ths, but I don't think it'll be a problem for these two.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, the emphasis on TVZ is almost always on attacking into the Zerg's 4th. Nice
surround!
And the Terran usually doesn't have to worry about being attacked at all, really, you know, like in most macro games. But in PvZ, the Protoss' 3rd is almost always the one that's attacked by the aggressive Zerg Roach Ravager, right? So I gotta see where you going with that. But it is still interesting because the way that they expand still determines a little bit in terms of like attack path. Because Terrans kind of want to both defend and attack in case there are run-bys. And then Zergs want to usually expand as far away as possible. And you have to start worrying about drops depending on where you expand to. So Snoot takes the third base that's way off to the left. It is protected from ground attacks, but that's not what you're worrying about usually from the Terran. So that's kind of far away, and drops might be a pain as the game goes on. And there's also like this space in the middle that I think a medevac could just hover in between the main and the third base. I'm not sure.
Oh, over here, yeah, sorry. I thought you said like literally in the middle. I'm like, why would they be hovering? Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
You know what? Yo, there is a Brood War map. Well, it might have been Vanilla Starcraft. You know what? It was Vanilla Starcraft because it was on the N64, where it was a map split. It was a map split, and like you could only get to your opponent's side of the map because there's a little like ravine type deal in the middle by an airship. So I would play Protoss, and then I would play like 40-minute long games where I mind controlled their SCV and had both races.
Dude, Golden has been doing that a lot in his stream recently, actually. And
oh, it's so much harder in StarCraft 2. I don't want to.
Well, he does it against GMs. He's not even like smurfing on like a bronze account or anything. Like, he's playing Siegfried and others. I'm just like, what? How's he doing this? By the way, I'm not sure we got My Flynn 00, but thank you for the new sub, and then Mald Maja just now for 2 months.
All right, so 211 is complete, and he is sending those medevacs over. I'm not sure why we see Hellions on the way. He started Widow Mines, and then he specifically changed. Oh, no, I do know why. Yeah, he didn't build a reactor on his starport. He built it on his, or he swapped it, rather, I think, onto his factory. So this is a cool little addition of the 211 that's really more emphasis on one of those ones, I guess, than the other. And it does turn into a bit of a
211.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of 211. So this might be a surprise. Unfortunately, I don't see this attack working too well against someone who's going for roaches soon, and then also Snoot who goes for a lot of queens.
Snoot saw this attack and then made 12 drones. Like, he was not worried about this.
Okay, he's not very scared at all. Oh, you know what? I said he might be going roaches, but he just started the upgrades for the roach warren, so this might be hitting perfectly.
I mean, timing here may favor HeroMarine, but again, Snoot's a guy who's got 9 queens. Nobody really goes this many queens except for Snoot. And he seems to be able to just defend everything with it. Like, we really haven't seen anyone break Snoot's 10 queen build.
You do definitely delay your engineering bay, though, to do this. So his upgrades will fall behind if this doesn't work. But, you know, the roaches can't even be made. That roach warren is pretty late. And he gets in a really good position. This is going to do damage.
Yo, this positioning is so great for picking up and going to the main, I feel. But he's focused on fighting the queens here. He is going to take a lot of the queens.
The Lynx can't help at all. And Snoot just played, I think, too greedy. Oh, more than think, I know. He played too greedy with the drones, played too greedy with the roach warren timing, and he has just lost this game.
I mean, this is really cool to see, not just because, like, hey, HeroMarine might finally get a point on the board, but we've cast so many games of Snoot where he goes 10 queens and it looks laughable. It looks trolly almost, but it works, right? Like, Terran can't break him. But for the first time, it's got to be on a new map, too. GG, HeroMarine. Maybe HeroMarine's idea with picking Ermita the way he did, too, is get out of the way. So you won't have to worry about Snoot having that map to fall back on.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe not, of course. But so what's left? We got what? Sequencer and Bandalarg, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's gonna be Snoot's pick for the first time in the series. So I'll have to think a little bit about which of the two he wants. I'm not sure how things are going elsewhere. Neeb and BC appear to be 2-1 last of the updates for the bracket, so nice. Again, games being covered over on Nathanius' stream as well. We also have German coverage and Polish coverage casting the games we're currently casting. But of course, big thank you to Nate for waking up and helping us cover these games. We just would not have the stamina to do 4 best of 7s in a single day. There's just 0 chance that that's going to happen.
Yeah. Snoot taking some time, thinking about it.
If he needs time, we can always go to a break. It's not that big of a deal. Again, the broadcast is Not quite the 4 hours we would shoot for in a regular stream, but you know what? 2 best of 7s is still a lot of games and some pretty good action. Of course, if the subs haven't checked their inboxes, the replay packs have been sent out from the Korean tournament at this point. And the foreigner ones will come out probably tomorrow before the finals. That way we can get those out. And then eventually these will be publicly posted, eventually. But for now, Blizzard and our subscribers are the only ones who should have them.
Coincidentally, both matches are now playing on Sequencer.
Oh, yeah. Again, this map is a little bit interesting to me because it doesn't feel as bad as the initial impression I got from it. Like, the second we loaded into that map, we saw the mini-map for the first time, I went like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? But honestly, the games on it haven't been too bad. I know you've got reservations about the map, and I actually definitely see your point of view on it, but the games we've had have proven to be not too shabby. Although, is this going to be the first time we see a Terran on it?
Maybe.
Yeah, we've had a lot of the non-Terran matches. We gave him all to Nate because he is, of course, Terran. I mean, he's a good caster. It's not like he needs Terran, but you know, I said no problem. You're helping us out. I'm glad to give you the Terrans.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, my reservations are just based off the anxiety I would have on the map, not knowing where their army's going to be. But overall, I don't think it's a terribly played map. I don't know if I like the design aesthetically.
Mm. Well, game number 3. Nope, excuse me, 4. Swap the scores around really quick. It's always fun pressing buttons with numbers. But it is a best of 7. I'm going to explain the prize pool and the voting and all this in a moment. But before then, in the top right, we do have the red Terran, HeroMarine.
In the bottom left is the blue Zerg. It is Liquid Snoot.
Okay, so again, if you guys are just mere fans, you're whether you're the type of person who doesn't even have a Twitch account, you never log into chat, or whether you're the type of person who's a sub and goes above and beyond, all of you matter the same to us in terms of we need you for the finals. Hopefully you've been enjoying the games, and if you've missed any of the matches, there's tons of VODs to go back through on both ours and Nathanias' channel, as well as TV's and Emil's. But the big thing is, there's a total of 15 maps available. We're going to bring back 10 for the finals. And we need you guys to help us vote on which 10 you want to see. Furthered by this, there's going to be 2 players brought back to the finals. So tomorrow we're going to have another 2 best of 7s back to back. Those semifinals will not lead to any sort of finals. Those will just be 2 more games played out to give those players a little bit of an extra chance to win your heart. Because it will be 2 days from now, from this cast, where we'll have a 10-match, all maps played finals for the tournament.
Yeah, all maps. All the maps.
Yeah, it's not quite like the best of 15 we had before, but I felt like that was, well, cool in concept, long, and very one-sided, so it didn't, I feel, go that well.
It's pretty extreme. Yeah, so macro builds here. It is a large map with a obvious natural and a safe third, technically, but one that is lower yields and no second gas. So I wouldn't be surprised if Snoot did take the third off to the right side of his base, as opposed to the in-base one. But I don't know his plan. I don't know his life. The 4th base isn't so bad to take either, because he would just take the in-base one, you know, the one he didn't take before. But it's the 5th base that can get a little tricky. It's either far off into an angle, or drops might be difficult to deal with, or it's expanding towards your opponent on one of these platforms, which is just a little annoying. And some of these platforms are also low yield. So decisions if it gets to that long of a game.
Sorry, my Subway passion took control of my hands, and I was responding to somebody in chat.
I see that. All caps, all the time.
I do think it's funny though. Like there's no actual anger here, right? But I do think it's funny that somebody would get upset about like quote unquote selling out to Subway, because I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like whether it's Subway or maybe it's McDonald's. Like what was that? There was a tournament in Sweden, right? That had McDonald's as a sponsor.
Oh yeah,
Fragbite.
Nate wore like a McDonald's pajama suit.
Yeah, Nate the Muslim, right? Fragbite Masters. I would actually see getting like a corporate sponsor like that as like the biggest badge of honor of accomplishment. Like, I don't know about the term selling out. It comes with a lot of negativity. But if me getting a hold of fucking Subway was selling out, then I'm gonna sell out all day, baby. I'm gonna sell till I got nothing left to sell. I want some Subway.
I'm also not even sure about what selling out is anymore. You know, I was never on board with the... Because I feel like selling out was a lot to do with like the music industry when I was younger for some reason. Out of like maybe that's just what I learned from the media.
Compromise your morals for a couple of extra bucks, man.
Yeah, and I never really understood why that was bad.
Yeah, but we work in a world where everything we do, tournaments, like they're all sponsored events, so everything we do is selling out. So if you have a problem with selling out, why are you watching? Selling
out in terms of like being a bad thing is only when you start like restricting what you can say. Like if we get sponsored by like Subway, and then if anyone brings up Wendy's, we have to respond with, "No, fuck Wendy's." Oh, well then that's kind of
we
bad,
should note, by the way, while the attack commences, this tournament is actually sponsored by Blizzard. They're awesome, good people, etc.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can say whatever the F we want. Anyways, yeah, it's a hell of an attack. One that Snoot scouted, I believe, so he had a couple of roaches already on the way. This shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, this isn't going to be an amazing time here for HeroMarine, unfortunately. If Snoot was playing a little bit greedy, maybe this could have done some damage, but this also was nothing close to the build we saw just now in the previous map.
No, and it wasn't even the build we saw on the first map, which had that little addition of the extra Hellbats and the Liberator.
You know what I just realized too is because HeroMarine managed to get a point on the board, we are going to see Bandalarg Ruins between these two.
Yeah, for sure. So HeroMarine tries so hard to save whatever units he can, and then accidentally rallies Hellions to the middle. Oh, well. What are you gonna do? Still save the medevac, which is the most important part, and abuse the platforms a little bit to save the others, which is kind of cool. I don't think he should drop at all. No,
not with this much health.
I don't know about this.
You're gonna have a bad time, man. But anyway, some comments in chat about the map. Again, yeah, this map looks really jarring at first. It looks like those little, like almost optical illusions. Like everywhere you look, there's supposed to be like a little black dot between each of the circles type thing. I don't know, but it's actually proven to have some interesting games. Again, I'm not convinced. It's got weird things like low yield. Sorry, I keep forgetting to point these out because we've seen this map several times now. But it's got lower mineral count thirds. There's only one gas. Like there's a lot of weirdness to the map, and I feel like this could actually be a pretty cool standard map if it was tweaked and adjusted slightly.
Yeah, I think what is so jarring is that it's platforms. If this was like a jungle map that just had up and down, as opposed to like definitive platforms, it might not be as jarring, although still look a little weird. Anyway, Snoot's doing kind of something cool. So he's been playing just Roach Ravager really for the most part, right, and going into Infestors and Ultras or Broodlords with only a handful of lanes, and he was upgrading the Roaches too. He shows Roaches as a defense against the Hellbats because that was like the easiest defense, I guess, and he is going to include some Roaches, but he's upgrading melee this time. And he went for a Baneling Nest. And he might even go for a Spire. And that could maybe trip HeroMarine up if he's kind of got into the groove of the certain way that Snoot's been playing so far. And there is the Spire. There you go. So, like, for instance, I think going tanks usually very good on this map against Roaches. You siege up the tanks on high ground or in one of these chokes, and they have to find some other path. If you go tanks on this map against Mutas, that actually might be really bad, because the Mutas can pick them off, like, if they're on the ledges. And there's a lot of counterattack opportunity, too. So, we'll see how it works. Tanks aren't inherently bad anymore against Mutaling Bling like they once were. But it might be a little more complicated than the Widowmine push.
The Hellions come down the right side. Kind of remind me a little bit of when we were seeing Denver play on this map. But unfortunately, Snoot is ready for it, unlike Bly was. Lings will get a little bit of damage done. Yeah, cleans up the Hellions pretty easily. HeroMarine taking this third. I actually think these types of bases, I've been thinking more and more on this because we didn't get to see much Terran, but I feel like this really has a much smaller impact on Terran than it does Zerg, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that Terran doesn't need gas as badly for the most part. Like a lot of times you see them not even take their geysers, right? Initially we do.
Us Terrans.
Yeah.
Us Terrans. Ugh. For 2-2 factory production, medevac production, but then for sure, like Terrans need it, I think, a little less as the game goes on. And that's why you have mistakes like on the first map of the day where HeroMarine didn't take the additional gases at all and eventually ran out.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, is, like, my thoughts are on this. The faster you can mine this out, the faster you can just, like, get the hell away from it and not worry. Like 6 mineral patches will mine out really quickly. So if you drop all the mules on there all the ways, like then suddenly you don't have to actually worry about this base after like a good 4 minutes. You just focus elsewhere, lift it, and take it somewhere else.
I guess so. So, by the way, Snoot did take that 3rd base where I thought he would, but then more interestingly takes the 4th base on the platform that is also low yield. Let's take a look at it. And then the 5th base is still going to be in the corner.
I think he's just comfortable consolidating this direction, I guess.
Yeah. Thing is, HeroMarine's playing also a little bit different of a style too. He kind of played the defensive fast 4th base on the first map of the day. Yeah, just relax, no problem. But it still had a little more aggression than what's being shown here. HeroMarine he made the tanks, sure, but he didn't push. And now he knows it's Mutilating Bling, of course. Like, he might be a little more hesitant too, as well. But he just takes a 4th base, man. Like, gets it up as a planetary, wait on his upgrades. No problem.
It's really heartbreaking watching these Banshees go down like this.
Well, basically any type of harassment HeroMarine has done has been shut down, so it is overall a heartbreaking game for HeroMarine, but he's tried to play a defensive game with a faster 4th base, but his army supply might not be just up to snuff against Snoot, who's taken advantage of this and got the 77 drones, right? He's just going to control the map from now on. He's going to start creep spreading all over the place, which I did think was going to be difficult on this map, but Snoot's doing a decent enough job with.
He's actually got like 45% of the map like already covered in creep, but that's actually pretty impressive, I got to say. But it's Snoot, so expected. You don't impress me anymore. I've become accustomed to your good at Starcraft-ness.
You're right. And taking down the rocks. Like, he is in total control of this game. Now, if HeroMarine gets to a maxed out position and doesn't lose all of his tanks, then it's still anyone's game, really. Because a maxed out, army with drilling claws and swords is still pretty good.
Yeah, I guess to know, it's not banlings, right? Like, this is just lings and roaches, but it is a lot of them, and that's what matters the most. Snoot's supply coming in hard, takes out all the tanks and backs away. The Muta's still alive. He did shave off a couple, but unfortunately, there's still a lot of Mutalisks roaming about.
Yeah. The good news is he's not depending on tanks. He's gone into Thor Widowmine production, but I do still think that tanks can still be helpful. But the Mutas did exactly what their job would be. Pick those off when they're alone.
Yeah. We did get a couple new subs, sorry, while this is going on. Thank you to Kirkus516 and then Ant Askew.
Ant Askew.
Glad to have both of you on board for the Base Trade Brigade.
Very much. Oh no, Widowmines, please. Well, there's no Banelings, so they don't die that quickly.
Oh, they should clear up a lot of the lings. That was really nice. Now Snoot's got that fallback. There's no way he can take this fight.
Yeah. Banelings would have absolutely killed them all in a group like that, and maybe Snoot didn't expect Drilling Claws. But now that HeroMarine's being a little more aggressive, Snoot's got to start thinking really hard about how he's going to take an engagement.
Yeah, he makes 80 more lings. Now finally getting some Banelings out, but that was quite the remax. That was all the larva, though.
That was so dangerous. Yeah, his larva might be a problem in the next wave if he might be. Well, HeroMarine's kind of pulling back here, so he might just have time to rebuild that larva count anyway. But that was dangerous. There was a Thor there, and Widowmines just popped out with Drilling Claws.
Tons of turrets.
Almost took a ton of damage. I love the turrets. They both played such a macro game that having the minerals invest in 5 additional turrets is totally worthwhile.
I'm not gonna drunk. Oh, on the hot scale, I'm a 10, baby.
Who was that? C Botting donated $10. Love me some base trade. Thanks, you two. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. That's going to go towards the tournament fundraiser. Really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Middle of the map. Again, Snoot's kind of... he's had money to throw around. He's had larva to throw around, but as he's trying to get these ultras out and like a lot of upgrades across the board, he's starting to run out of gas. He's starting to run out of money. Takes a pretty nice engagement there with the Banelings, though.
Yeah, HeroMarine is pretty pure marine here. The Marauders finally come back, but there's really not that many Widowmines and only one Thor. So his army is being cleaned up slowly.
Wrong.
Medevac's being chased down.
The Thor is seriously on like 1 health. That was a really sick pickup, but it's not going to be enough to carry him through this. As he falls back to these Widowmines, so this might just be where he needed to go.
Damage.
Oh, it's still going to be too much Snoot, though.
It is, yeah. I just don't think... Well, HeroMarine didn't have all his army together, which is problem number 1, right? And then problem number 2 was that the army he did have, like, wasn't, like, in the right... I guess even further in the right places, I suppose. Like, the Marauders were on the front lines, and they were too far back to even help at all. Upgrades are all finishing for Snoot. HeroMarine didn't even get faster 3-3. Or that much faster 3-3. Like 20 seconds. Damn.
It's a real damn shame he doesn't know about these overlords. This would actually devastate Snoot. This would be like the hardest supply block for somebody who doesn't have 1,000 minerals to replace it with.
Yeah. Speaking of replacing, HeroMarine might be able to replace another maxed out army, but that did not give a lot of hope into taking good engagement anyway. He's got a 5th base on the way, and that's going to be a planetary here. And Snoot, you know, he might be up to ultras, but if HeroMarine continues playing defensively and builds a Liberator count, maybe that's not enough. But if he moves out, I think Snoot is going to crush him again.
I don't know, man. Like I feel like so much of this game has run away for like Snoot has lost a lot of his lead because he has been playing a little bit carelessly with some of these engagements, not to mention awkwardly with that no bailings for such a long time. But the fact that he is on ultras, the fact that he's on 3-3 with tightness. I mean, yeah, the HeroMarine's on 3-3 as well, sure, but that's gonna be more effective against the mutas than anything else.
I kind of like this position though. Snoot might have just been better off giving up that base anyway and taking the left side. I mean, when's the last time we saw HeroMarine drop? The 2 drops that were just killed immediately. So I don't think there's too much worry about being dropped off to the left side. Woodamines have to be saved here to get 1 shot, but the banelings were already suiciding.
Mom spaghetti, dude.
And that's not too great. 1 more Woodamine, 2 more Woodamines in the back, and 2 Thors. But
you get shots on the mutas. Yo, if these, the thing is, the Thors have upgrades too. These can actually wipe the mutas if Snoot's not careful. HeroMarine actually just ended up taking what was initially a really terrible fight into a not bad one after.
Yeah, that's true. The ultras were left alone after all the lings disappeared, and those aren't too bad to deal with when they're alone, especially with the 2 Thors packing a punch and the Marauder count not being so bad.
That kind of push out of Snoot was not only supposed to like kind of win the game, but also at least kill something economically. Instead, HeroMarine does the opposite, where he lives and takes a base.
This base is not going to be attacked unless Snoot goes for like 30 mutas, which would have been a possible way to play, but not the way that he's going to play. His bank has also been depleted, and he still takes that base that I still think is kind of risky. Like, I really wonder why he doesn't just double expand to the left.
So what are your thoughts on this for Terran? Like, let's say you're in this position where you are investing this many turrets this game, right? Like, normally we see like 1 per base. It's not this many, but like, let's say it is this many. Do you go for building armor? Nah,
I don't think so. If they're going to commit to it, they already have too many mutas.
That's not a bad point, I guess. I was thinking, like, obviously it's going to benefit the turrets, but also the planetary, too, for these possible
I think you should get it now. You know, now that it's, like, 2 planetaries up, and, yeah, there are them. Like, I think he should get it, but he is still a bit tight on the money.
Yeah, gas more than anything else, I suppose, but... yeah, just kind of curious because we don't see a lot of Terran players go for it. I personally am a huge fan of building armor when you're fighting against mutas, but
this is especially bad. I love the contamination, but also HeroMarine's high capped anyway.
If the Thors come in, he's got to be careful. Again, with this many Thor shots, all it takes is a couple to start massacring the mutalisks.
Yeah, I love the use of it, but that's where it can backfire. Damn. HeroMarine really does not want to move position. He just feels like there's going to be an army attacking into his planetary if he does. But unfortunately, he's had to draw now a good portion of his army. The Thors, these Marines, the Marines off to the left to try and trap the mutas, but there's still a bit of space for them to hide out in.
Yeah, I've started to realize he may have been able to dedicate a little bit more to this side, but...
yeah, it's questionable. There's so many Widowmines. I really like HeroMarine's composition now. There's a ton of Marauders, there's a ton of
Liberator!
Widowmines.
The Liberator popped at just the right moment! Snoot just lost so many mutas on the escape!
Okay,
oh my god, that was like all his mutas!
But you know, that was a decent use of the mutas if they were going to die. They did a lot of, like, just bringing the army back, killing add-ons.
Oh yeah, for sure, but...
So I think he doesn't mind it if he can get the Corruptors out in time. Oh, the Widowmines all die. There's only 2 left. I was so impressed with his Widowmine count.
Yeah. He gave away one of the ultras, which is a little unfortunate, but he got such a good trade for it. At this point of the game, again, like Snoot's a little bit behind on the resources lost, sure, but he's had more to lose. I'm really worried though, because like if he keeps taking fights, like he's got to start getting better engagement through this. He's not stopped HeroMarine from mining. You know, he's gonna run out of this base, sure, but he's got this fresh one. He's fully gonna be able to mule. He's got extra commanders that are floating around too.
And Snoot still has not taken another base. I don't know why. This is really what's gonna be the game-ending thing, I think, is that he's gonna lose this base. And he could have had another one that would have been mining off to the far left. But this is now his, like, really important mining base.
Well, this will determine the fates of the game, I'm going to assume. There's so many Ultras coming through this. And even with the Liberators in the sky, the Corruptors will take care of them. The Ultras run through the Liberation zones. And that massive Marauder count is just now missing. You're like, where did it go? Missing Forces report, please.
Maybe he should have broken on his rocks. Yeah, but, you know, he's able to retreat into planetaries, and there wasn't anything protecting the Ultras, even though there's, like, the Ultras are protecting the Ultras, right? But he's out of Lings. So, Snoot pushes him back. Okay, finally. Oh, thank goodness. As I, like, stop complaining, he takes this base and the one in the middle, because he was also banking, you know, 3,000 minerals. So I really thought this was going to be on the list of things to do.
That's also going to help, too, with Larva. Like, you have to worry less injects. At this point of the game, I don't think Snoot has actually got... as good as his APM is, like, he wants to be focusing on the front line. It's not going home to inject, but this ends up being terrible on the right side, great on the left side. GG!
Ow, not the game.
HeroMarine will fall, and Snoot will win. Game number 4.
That was certainly a fun game, though.
Yeah, but this one leads to a very interesting map now with Banderlog Ruins. For those who weren't watching the first time around, this has almost no minerals in your main. You start the game almost mined out. It was really cool and certainly alarming. But we're going to go to a commercial break before we see how this map looks for game number 5. It could be the last one. See you guys soon. Hey guys, we're back. Sorry about that. Took a little bit of an extra break, but we are ready to go for the final, well, possibly final game of the series. Excuse me. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself there. HeroMarine is on his last life, and we're going to get a look at this really unique map. Again, this map, it's different, but it's different in a way that I can actually get behind. A lot of the maps we've been seeing, they've got these gimmicks and frills, and I just honestly couldn't care for them. But this one actually intrigues me, and I really would be interested to see this applied to even some of the regular maps. Like, take something a lot more standard like Belshire, right? But let's get that score on the board. He leads 3-1. Here on the bottom right side, we got the Blue Zerg player. It's Team Liquid's Snoot.
The top left is the Red Terran. It's HeroMarine.
Alright, so again, you guys will notice these mineral patches are pretty much already mined out. I wasn't sure how spawns worked on this, but I guess it is an anywhere spawn map, because last time it was horizontal. This time it got cross.
Yeah, that's what I was so interested in. The map is a decent size anyway, so it's not like the horizontal spawns was the sole reason for Denver being aggressive. Although we did get, I'd say, like, fairly quickly to Arsem's natural. But there's a ton of other reasons why you might think that being aggressive is better. You know, just think that I have a timer because the minerals are so much lower. Yeah, or that maybe you think if I deny them from expanding, then they'll just mine out, and that'll be better for me.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, it's really simple. Like, either you're gonna yourself expand, or you're gonna try and punish your opponent for expanding, right? Like, one of the two. And I really thought like this might be where we'd see the 3x Reaper come out, but I guess not.
Yeah, I don't know about that. 3x Reaper lasts a very long time.
Well, that's where I think it becomes cost effective, right? Like the Reapers have sustainability if done correctly. So okay, yeah, it might not be something where you can afford to go for like 40 of them, but the initial 9, they should last you a long time.
I'm just thinking of how expensive it is to transfer out of them. I don't know how it really works, to be honest, but like, you're on your one base for so long, and you have to build your command center usually in the main, maybe 2 command centers. Like, that's a long time before you're back up to another, well, a different type of army, I guess, but it would be an interesting experiment. Yeah,
of course, this is all theoretical coming out of our side, but all right, Reaper does set across the map. We'll see what he can really get done. It's interesting because he is going bottom. Okay, bottom, then I guess I'll go find Snoot afterwards.
Yeah. So, yeah, you kind of brought up like the simplicity of it. Like, you either expand or you stop your opponent from expanding, which I guess maybe some people would say, isn't that just StarCraft in a nutshell? But it's not, you know. I kind of brought it up last time we saw this map, but like in Heart of the Swarm, you could really be fine macroing the 2, even 3 bases and then attacking like even 6 times, like even somewhat badly, and you'd still be kind of okay. Legacy of the Void, that kind of got harsher. You could expand to 2, maybe 3 bases, and if you attacked and it didn't go well, then it didn't go well, like you're actually in a bad position. This just kind of like amplifies it even further, so it really is like, if this is going to be a pure macro game, I guess that can happen, but if at any point one base is denied for even like a minute, that suddenly is a much bigger deal. That's I guess why we find it so interesting. I don't know about making this into a ladder map. But...
No, so that's where I actually didn't consider that till you just mentioned it. Like the idea of how much more powerful denying or delaying a base could be. Like on this map, hypothetically, Probe Pylon Block and Zerg could be game winning if done correctly.
Oh my god, that's kind of funny.
I mean, it's 4-player spawn, so the likelihood of that is very low, and I don't think it's something we'll run into anytime soon. But I really do like the idea. For those who don't know, sorry, we kind of glanced past this. We showed the main minerals also being low, but the natural mineral bases are 900 and like 450. The third bases and onwards are where you get your normal mineral patches. But again, for me, thematically, this is the first game in like 4 years of Starcraft I've looked at a map called something Ruins, and I'm like, this actually feels like the Ruins. Coming in, there's not a lot to salvage or scavenge from. Like, it's cool. I like it.
Oh, they need a strong link for the new Twitch Prime sub.
Wow, is that like an HTTPS or just an HTTP?
Or is it Link from Legend of Zelda? And he's very strong.
Yo, what if Link was a guy?
Well, that would just be silly.
What if Zelda was a
How
girl?
would he be a princess?
I'm not gonna lie, the Breath of the Wind's shots I keep seeing in the video, it looks really interesting. It looks pretty fun.
I really want to enjoy all of the Zelda games, but trying to play Twilight Princess really ruined me because of the fucking Wii controls. And then I never had a GameCube, so I missed the Wind Waker hype, I guess.
Well, I got the Wind Waker hype for the Wii U, and I guess I got the remastered version, so it's better.
I didn't have a Wii until very late too, so like I missed both parts of it. That was probably the last VG Cats comic I read.
Whoa! I just realized I'm not buying a TV for my new apartment because I don't watch TV, right? And I didn't want to invest in cable. That means I won't have a console.
Can you not? I mean, you could buy a cheap TV.
Do I want to though? I mean, I'm not exactly like a Smash Bros gamer here, right? Like, I play my Wii U like once a month.
Like that VG Cats comic was like the GameCube was dying, and then the guy bursts in. He's like, "We can save him!" Like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was coming on it, and then they're like, "It's gone, sir," because you're too late. That was probably the last one I read. Then it got weird and bad. Anyway,
I'll go buy an old CRT TV and I'll grab I'll play some Smash and then I'll abandon StarCraft. That's the game plan. Yeah. That's the 4-year plan.
Yeah. Become a Smash commentator. That's the way to go.
Hey, if I do, I get to speak a lot more explicitly. I wouldn't mind that. I will say this in the most polite way possible. The Smash commentators, some of them just I'm like, am I listening to two people chatting on the street or commentating the game? Like, what's going on here?
I really don't get fighting commentary anyway. I've thought about this quite a bit because I like watching fighting games. Not Smash, surprisingly. Everyone boo me, go ahead. But anyway, it just seems so unnatural.
Well, yeah, I want to just add in there too. I like the commentary. I'm not actually taking a dig at it or anything, but it is so very different.
Yeah. So we did have a straight up macro game here, and they both have, well, Snoot's already expanded to 5 bases. HeroMarine already to 4. Oh no, well, technically, it's his main command center, but that's fine. But the drop commences, and Snoot was almost not in position, so he loses 5 drones.
Yeah. Thing is, though, it's a gold base, and you don't need that many drones to make that super effective. HeroMarine's going to be fully aware of that, too. So this comes on over this side. He's also going to be pushed back. Not a lot of opportunity for damage, unfortunately.
Whoa, when will these back rocks be used? The ones there.
I guess side attack. It'd be cool if this was actually a platform or something, but yeah, this is just like a pathway. I don't know why, or that seems like a thing limited to Zerg. I don't know who else would run back there.
Weird.
I guess you could maybe do some stuff with tanks. Set up a tank back there. I don't know. That looks really weird watching the road just spinning. That's some range.
Yeah, he's gonna bother killing it. Sure.
Okay, well, it opens up the door for Zerg, like I said, so it makes sense. Helmets and Marines on this side. We do have 2 medevacs coming in on this side. And looks like HeroMarine is going to try and multi-prong the heck out of Snoot.
Yeah. If he can kill bases, I guess that would be the real kicker. And now that's going to happen. Kills the left side base. The Snoot just abandons it, gets it, snipes it.
He actually gets a really good trade there on the right side, too, taking out a lot of the Ravagers before disappearing. This was not a bad attack out of HeroMarine. But the problem is, we can't really gauge how good this is, because again, this is a map where the mains are mined out, the naturals are pretty much going to be mined out soon. Like, this is such a weird economy map. And you know what's crazy? Oh my god, I just realized you can't take ninja bases here like you normally would. You'd be expanding to a base that has like a handful of minerals.
It's going to be genius. It's already mined out.
That was the map maker's intention. It wasn't supposed to be cool rusher to fed. It was just like, I'm so sick of ninja bases being taken on all the big maps.
It's so overpowered. It happens all the time. Yeah, exactly. So this base is going to be canceled again. Not too shabby here. Always remember that Snoot does not have his initial two mining bases. His third is even getting mined out a little bit too. HeroMarine finally is able to afford a real 4th base, a real boy, and can turn to a planetary, I guess. He's also pushing to the middle with the rest of his army, which now includes tanks.
Well, this push is actually pretty big. It's got about 30 supply over Snoot, and that's going to be with 2-2 here very shortly. I actually would love if you kept the tanks unsieged for this. I think sieging up could be good, but as we see, the Corsair Biles are going to pick them off if they sit like that. Not a bad position, though, as he pressures that gold base once again. And this is costing Snoot way too much trying to keep his base alive. Right side's got a drop going off, picks off the Queen. Looks like he lost the medevac, but focuses down some drones to go with it. Not bad out of HeroMarine.
Not bad at all. Snoot's having a little difficulty. And if he expanded to the right north, he would still have that same problem against drops. So HeroMarine is moving that direction. Maybe now Snoot can take his gold base, but upgrades aren't quite done. The fungals are available now, and that's what he was really missing. If they were ready when HeroMarine first pushed in, he was all types of clumped up, and that would have been a very different hold on that gold base. But now they're here. Stop the run into the bio.
Tank shots blasting off do catch a lot of splash. I mean, the thing about these roaches and ravagers, it's not really them that matters, it's the infestors. So unless the tanks can snipe those off, these fungals are going to happen, and that's going to be devastating. There's a nice reinforcement line. We do have double drops down here to the south. Snoot's economy really getting run hard this game. HeroMarine's also not letting up the pressure on this side. He's going to move in once he realizes Snoot sent his army to respawn down here. There's that scan to confirm. He sees the infestors. He wants to be a little bit careful about those fungals. He still gets caught. Corrosive Biles are going to rain from above, but so many Marauders and so many Marines are still pushing in.
Maybe come from behind? He has that reinforcement. Oh, okay, never mind. Just comes forward. He might have enough roaches. He even has a couple more fungals, I think. One, at least. But it's got to be on the tanks. No,
they're going to get
focus
fire.
The tanks, the roaches. There you go.
I love that, getting into the dead zone of these tanks. So many of them are barely alive. This, though, was really not a bad push out of HeroMarine, because while this goes on, he was expanding, and Snoot had to give up another base.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Snoot finally has his gold back up in like just 10-15 seconds here, and that'll be a big bump because he's on pretty 6 drones and he does need this other base. And his upgrade's also finishing up, so they're going to be even upgrades finally. And he did save his infestors, so there's some good points for Snoot in this game. But HeroMarine, I think, has taken a lot of momentum. Creep spread is also still out there, so a little advanced warning, a little bit of hesitancy from HeroMarine. Liberators are now on the way, and well, his tank count did die. Went back to just 1. The bio still looks pretty threatening.
Yeah, he's still up a lot of supply over Snoot right now, which is an issue. And that 2-2, okay, so he's finally going to bridge that gap, but I think it's going to come a little bit too late, maybe. The fungal growths are good once again, though. Nice. That paired up with these Corrosive Biles are getting some good hits, but he pushes through the Corrosive Biles. Ravager numbers starting to just disappear. Roach is going to get focused down, too. And as soon as he scans, these infestors are screwed.
Snoot was even like using his bank that he finally got, but that wouldn't have been enough anyway. GG.
Whoa, we're gonna go to a game 6.
Restart.
All right, so yeah, we should explain that. At this point, it is now up to Snoot, and he can pick any of the maps available in the map pool again. So all 5 maps are available to him. If he wants Eremita, Sequencer, any of that, it's all him. We're going to pop off to commercial break, though. Sit tight, guys. Game number 6. First game number 6 ever. What? No, but of this series when we return. All right, folks, we're back. Thank you for sitting tight as we get into Curious Passage.
Yay!
I mean, Snoot had full selection of any map he wanted, and this was his choice. It's really not that bad of a map, but he did really enjoy the golds, so I'm not surprised to see that he would pick this one again.
He loved them. Yeah,
He
it
loved
was
the heck out of them.
It wasn't a terrible map for HeroMarine though. It turned into just overwhelming ultras, lol, bank type deal, but HeroMarine had a lot of good pushes that almost looked good enough to end Snoot.
That's true. Well, we'll see if he can bring it back and go to a game number 7, or if this is where he dies. He's still on his last life. Here in the top left, we do have the red Terran player, HeroMarine.
In the bottom right is the blue Zerg. He's Liquid Snoot.
But yeah, again, the emphasis here is that Snoot, like, he really ran away. There's gold bases all over the right side of the map, and he just went nuts taking them. If HeroMarine lets him do that again, it's not the gold I feel is so OP, like, it's Snoot. Like, these could be regular bases, and I feel like as long as he expands the way he did, he'd still get away with very similar to Game 1 moves.
I definitely agree. Especially because they were, like, later and later bases, you know?
Oh. Also, I didn't realize the other series had concluded, so cover your ears for spoilers for the moment if you're planning to go watch Nate's VODs afterwards. 3, 2, 1. Neeb beat BCQD 4-2, so we do have a PvP in tomorrow's semifinals bracket. Hearthstone versus Neeb. Topside is going to be Thermal versus either Snoot or HeroMarine. That's actually going to be really interesting. If HeroMarine brought this back and actually won for a TVT, I would never have expected there to be a mirror matchup on both sides of the bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, for those who don't know, we went very much out of our way to make sure we had one of every matchup. Like, one TVZ, one TVT, one TVP, and so forth for each of the races. And even a couple extras. So, first, kudos to the Protoss. That's actually really impressive.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who I want to see more. Like, I really think we haven't seen enough for HeroMarine for me to hype up his TVT, but maybe that's amazing. I don't know. We haven't got to see any TVT through this map tournament so far. That's all been on Nate's stream. But then, again, like, Snoot versus Thermal is a classic matchup that's actually probably great to watch. I don't know.
I would love to see that again on these new maps.
Yeah,
That is tomorrow.
I do want to emphasize, though, that these guys playing right now, like, they're playing for the difference of a couple $100, right? Or $100, excuse me. Nobody who's played in the round of 8 walks away with less than $200. And again, we talked about the sponsor. Shout out to Blizzard for sponsoring this, providing the prize pool and the pay for the players. But the people who win advance on to play for $300. But I want to make it perfectly clear, the people who win their match tomorrow don't actually win any extra money. Tomorrow's matchups are just that little bit of a chance to sell themselves, to look at the extra maps, and then hopefully get back and invited to the grand finals. So the idea with tomorrow having no prize money is it gives them the opportunity to maybe just be a little more fun with the maps and try new weird things instead of try hard to win. Because they cannot win any more money by winning games tomorrow.
Mass nukes all around.
Please. Oh, God. Please. Are you kidding me? Thank you, Rebel Dragon 86 for the 8-month resub. Says, great stream. Having a great day. Glad you enjoyed the stream, friend. Reimer 19 hit us up with a 5-month sub, and I think that catches us up.
Well done. Oh, we got a quick 3 base situation for HeroMarine, and this does play well into fast thirds. We kind of talked about the wall off last time we saw him and how he could have walled off so that there's like no entrance into the third, but he expanded or walled diagonally. So we'll see if he does that again or not. Like, there wasn't that many run bys to the third anyway, despite that little flaw, and it was more about the fourths and fifths as the game went on longer and longer. Whoopsie. That was supposed to be so far away from being scouted. Oh well.
Yeah. This is actually a little bit scary, though, because Snoot plays Roaches and Ravagers in the first place, and if you see a third CC like that, the contemplation is just all in and punish that, I think rises pretty greatly. I'm not saying Snoot would go for it, but he's certainly smart enough to know it's an option.
Yeah, it's always so difficult, especially on like big maps too. It's like unless you already have some of the structures and thinking in place, it's like, damn, missed opportunity. I think Snoot'd be more like the guy who saw that and was like, oh great, so I can take like a fifth, right? And like takes it wherever he wants.
Yeah, that's true. It's gonna at least gonna take the gold.
Yeah, that's gonna be his fourth, and then I'm gonna guess he's gonna expand the exact same way he did before. I think it is gonna be the better way, really. Just gotta watch out for drops, and then you can deal with the southern attacks with time to spare, kind of, as they have to push in past this one base and then further into the natural. That was the position that HeroMarine almost broke Snoot on. He got Liberators and a good amount of bio into the... That doesn't even... Okay, whatever.
I mean, if he puts one more deeper to the north, it will. It's a funky wall again coming out of him, but for those who don't know what we were describing earlier, if he would actually wall off connecting here to here, and then did the same wall off on this ramp that he did, then he'd actually have all three of his bases set in. But doing it the way he does, if he walls off here and only walls off here, then he actually has this entrance into his third still.
Yeah, the one downside of walling right there is that it's pretty far away from your natural, so if they're trying to break you, your RCVs can't repair. But that has not been an issue for a long time, I feel, in Starcraft. So that I really don't see a reason not to. If especially if it's going to go into a macro game, which if you're playing against Snoot, you just got a little bit of scouting. It's usually going to be the case.
Well,
oh well.
He reaches deep and doesn't get a lot of drone kills. 5's not bad, but 5's also not great. Oh, the gold's finished too, so we'll probably see a drone transfer here in a moment. As far as what HeroMarine can gear up to do, I will say I have been fairly impressed by his multitasking in the series. Like, both in the games that he has won and lost, it's been pretty consistently well done.
Oh yeah. I think some people expected Snoot to just like stomp HeroMarine, but HeroMarine has had some pretty solid macro games against even Nerchio, the other very, very solid Zerg that we have.
Yeah,
but this is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, he's not quite ready for it. A little bit bewildered even. The Spore Caller goes down, the Queen gets focused, and while the roaches are coming out, they're not here yet, so these Queens got to buy some time. 10 roaches about to spawn, but if those spawn after the Queens are all dead, that's going to feel really bad.
One more stim will severely damage the Marines. That'll probably force them to pick up more than anything else.
Yeah, that puts them close to one-shot range, which is really dangerous when you're fighting roaches.
Combat Shield is just about to finish, but the roaches are already out. So Snoot loses his Queens. He also lost a bit of mining time. But he's still on 71 drones, and he has 4 bases, so he could just, remake them pretty quickly. This is kind of what happened last time they played on this map, right? He got the, he did the Hellbat opener that got like 15 drones and a couple of Queens. Yeah. Yet he still ended up losing in the macro game.
I'm not super worried for either player after watching that attack, but it is just that concern where Snoot, I feel like his snowball rolls a little bit harder, and it gets a little bit bigger. Yeah, I agree with that. Snoot is already, HeroMarine is already adding on a second factory. That would have been impressive if Snoot had. And that's going to give him some pretty good double tank production pretty quick. He hasn't started tanks yet, but it'll be freaking soon. Drop into the natural. But that's going to be a kind of obvious drop location. Oh. Big
waste.
He does focus on Queens again. Chooses to get drones there afterwards. I mean, it's interesting to see the lengths to which HeroMarine's going to hurt Snoot's economy, because I think he knows, hey, it's Snoot. Like, he's the guy with the economy, but all things considered, he's still barely scratching it. I mean, this is 10 drones is objectively great, but in this sort of situation, it's not that much.
Nope. Unless he has this really dominant push coming up, it's not adding on to anything. And that is...
So that goes back to the second factory, though, right? Like, we're gonna have that tank production coming, sure, but as we see, HeroMarine's a little bit stuck on it, I guess.
He hasn't even started on his tanks.
Well, so here's the problem that comes with those tanks, though. Like, okay, maybe you're at 5 or 6 tanks to go for the push. Sieged up, corrosive battles can be pretty devastating. We're also at the point, though, where Snoot's got a really quick hive on the way, combined with the fact that infestors are out. Like, these tanks, I don't know, I feel like if HeroMarine did something where the emphasis was getting the tanks out, he might actually do a lot more damage than he does by getting them out later. Like, okay, you might have 5 or 7 of them, but can they do as much damage as 2 tanks early on could do? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is a question that is answered primarily through the map, I think.
Yeah,
Like
so
if it's a short distance and there's good ledges, do the initial tank push, the fast tank push.
Well, so, and that's where I think tomorrow's matches matter the most to me. Again, where tomorrow's matches won't actually get the players any additional prize money. And I would love to see them consider doing things like that. Because for HeroMarine, I'm sure right now he's thinking about trying to play as standard as possible on this weird forward map that he's... Whoops. What did I just do?
Huh?
Oh, F1 and F2? What the heck is that? Hit F1! This is like a hidden game heart feature? I guess this is for intros or something maybe? Like player intros?
Oh yeah, because it's red and blue.
Yeah, but then how do you toggle names and stuff up there? Control F2? No, this is a new feature. I have not seen this before. Okay, whatever.
Interesting.
What was I saying before?
Tanks?
That caught me completely off guard. Oh, right. Where this is a map, I see a lot of cool potential for tanks, but having never practiced them before, I don't think you're going to use any of these ledges. Like, again, I feel like setting up tanks here and then unloading, or like, you know, there's a lot of cool ways you could possibly use them on the map. But HeroMarine's not going to be experimenting on a game where he's on his last life.
That's where I really like having TY, is that he does just look at tank positions and goes for it. And that's what he did in the ZvT, even though he ended up losing it.
Yeah,
he went for that tank position.
I gotta say, that series with him and Time was just fantastic. Not just because of the results, but also because of just... Yeah, you're right. Like, TY just went for it every time.
Yeah. So, pretty important stuff here. HeroMarine, in that last time they played on this map, he expanded to the 4th very quickly. He got a 5th. It was a long game, but he had a lot of pushes. And one almost worked, but then the next 2, 3, 4... kind of lost in the game as he stumbled. He's playing a very defensive game, 5 base, 6 base on the way, extra command center, so 7 bases, and he's already onto his ghosts.
Yo.
Like, he just played to the late game.
I think the ghosts are actually a huge deal here, though. Like, the infestors got away with so much, and we watched them just, like, get crippled. Like, fungal after fungal after fungal. This time around, it's not about sniping off the infestors with the tanks, potentially. It's about landing those EMPs and rendering them useless.
For sure. Like, all those options, sniping and EMPs, both together are beautiful, so... so Snoots!
I don't even think we're going to see snipe. I'm just going to say it right now.
Really? I think we definitely are. The amount of times that the only use of the ghosts in TVZ has been EMPs is... I could probably count that on my fingers.
But that's the thing. This style fell out of favor for a while, too, right? Like, Nurture was doing it for a while, then stopped. Snoot was doing it for a while, then stopped. Like...
It's just... For me, it's too tempting when the ultras run in and you have the time, or when you chase after the ultras are positioning.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out how it's going to use. There's a lot of burn infestors, and my god, he's lucky that that turret was not in range. Okay, so I'm wrong about the snipes, and that's fine. This actually does do well at this run by. I still lose a couple ghosts for it, but my thoughts on the snipes are not for like run by and harassment. It's for the infestors on the front lines. Loses all of them, by the way, and the planetary is going to hold against the roaches.
I don't think Snoot played as much the late game as HeroMarine did.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on a bunch of bases. He has a ton of a bank here, although not the gas, which is a problem. But he didn't, for instance, add on his Greater Spire or Double Spire, you know, which would have been the ultimate late game for Zerg.
Yeah. Especially against
the
tanks.
Choice between the two.
Well, the Greater Spire starts up, and maybe he's got time on his side. I mean, 4,000 minerals. He's got so many bases, he doesn't even need injects.
Oh, he doesn't scan.
Fungal growths are good, though, and that catches the core of the army. Catches the rest of it, too. Why the hell not? Another fungal to top it off, and that does a lot of damage.
It does. I think it caught a couple of infestors there, and the ultras didn't kill all of the ghosts, but that was still pretty baller.
This goes back to why I said I don't think we'll see snipes, and that just goes back to, again, like, ghosts haven't been in the matchup for a while. This style from Snoot hasn't been in the matchup for a while, but let's not forget that every time that fungal growth ticks, it still interrupts the snipe. That much hasn't been changed. They still have that big drawback to them. So I thought for with as many infestors as there were, you'd have to EMP because you get fungal otherwise.
So I think your comment is more like not what we will see, but maybe what we should see. Like
maybe. Yeah.
Like, I think it's always the initial reaction of any Terran player to go for the snipes on the big hulking ultras that are running at you, but it might be wiser to specifically scan for the EMPs. But I think the complication of that is that sometimes the infestors aren't really grouped up. They don't group up as much as like High Templars do, surprisingly, because I think they're kind of fat. Like here would be perfect, right? But that last battle, there's 2 on the front, 2 in the middle, and 2 in the back. You know, that wouldn't have been a great EMP.
That's very true. Again, it comes down to both players and their spellcasting capabilities, right? Like, nail this EMP and just hit the army blankly. That is that fungal. You know, corpses flying on this side, a couple ultras on the husks too. Not looking so good for Snooze. He takes a bad engagement. Looks like he's gonna go for the snipes on the ultras.
Buddy.
Oh man, that was overkill.
Yeah, and what sucks about Zerg is I think Zerg's initial reaction is to run away, realize they can't, and then try and attack the ghosts, and they're just like, ah.
It's like that gut reaction of like remembering even that it interrupts, because it is such a weird mechanic. Like, it makes no sense that it interrupts, right? Like, but any damage will interrupt or snipe. That includes damage over time. Couple of corrosive biles, not bad either. But it's a lot of liberators setting up, and frankly, these corruptors are not in a position to take them on.
That was definitely a misclick, I think, a miscontrol. Snoot did not want to take the engagement.
How many ghosts is this now? This is 11.
Fortunately,
this is Beyond playing on HeroMarine's account.
Yeah, now that the ghost count is high, the corruptors can't help the liberators too much. Like, not by themselves. And if they're not by themselves, then the liberators do the damage, and it's still bad news for Zerg, you know? If they go in by themselves, try and preemptively take out the liberators, they get sniped, and they're kind of expensive. Not easily given away.
Yeah, but again, that's where this gets really awesome, where, oh, those snipes are going to be disgusting. But this is, again, where I feel like the infestors should have been covering this. Like, Snoot should have been ready to fungal growth immediately upon seeing all the ghosts on the front line like that. He will kill the ghosts, by the way, and that's going to feel really good, but he's going to lose a lot for it. Liberators are going to get cleaned up eventually, and Snoot pushes through.
He does, yeah. Transfused from the back also could have helped out this Ultra. This was an evenish trade, though. Like, they both don't have too much bank from it.
I like that. Evenish is actually a great way to describe it.
Yeah, thank you. You may be wondering about the Banelings, but the ghosts do clump up pretty bad. And even though Banelings aren't super effective against ghosts, if anything's clumped up, Banelings are good.
You know, regardless of the potential infestor ghost dynamic, the thing is, these ghosts just don't have enough energy to EMP the corruptors. There's so many marauders that have been made. There's nothing to really auto-attack down the corruptors. So caustic spray on this planetary.
There is enough.
Well, I mean,
there's not that many corruptors.
It's taken so long to clean up what few corruptors there were.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thank you to Khabib for that Twitch Prime sub. 3 months. Glad to have you back. Some YouTube link that we can't check out right now, but maybe we'll take a look at later. HeroMarine actually does take a gold base on his side of the field. Again, it's the low yield and 1 gas, but still a gold nonetheless. Snoot has exhausted that bank, though, at this point. And while he was rocking and rolling for a while, most of these bases are bare and empty or getting to that point.
Mm-hmm. Very fun late game here. Ghosts just aren't gaining a lot of energy, so those are the only snipes.
Yeah.
EMPs come down, or fungals come down, but late.
Thorns would be surprisingly good to help push that back too, by the way.
Yeah, I think Thors are the... I don't know how to put it, but like I think they're actually quite good in the late game.
Yeah. Of course, a fair question coming in chat. Why are we talking about like the dynamic of EMP versus snipes and not just seeing both? And a lot of it has to do with what Zombie Grub said in chat, energy. Like, if you're going to cloak your ghost, you're already going to be running out of energy really quick. EMP, that's like half your energy. If you've got full energy, then you've got maybe a couple snipes left in you after that.
Oh,
but,
no.
Oh, who's lagging out? Oh, HeroMarine, no.
Okay.
Do not make us recover this game.
No, it's going to take so long. No.
All right, well, anyways, as we wait a moment for this to come in, just go back to finish out that point with the ghosts. Like, they are really cool potential units to deal with what Snoot's showing, and we've seen through so many different games, you can have mass liberator, mass tank, mass marine, mass marauder all together, and ultimately they just die to corrosive biles and fungal combos. Ghosts are the tipping scale to really change that, and I love that he brought them out in this game. So regardless of like whether the priority is on snipes or whether the priority is on EMPs, the fact is that they're working better than the previous compositions he's been using.
For sure. This has been a highlight game of Ghost Energy too, because I think there's some other games that get very passive in a late game, and suddenly you have 20 ghosts with full energy, and you're just like, well, how does a Zerg ever beat this?
Okay, so we are gonna go recover game. The nice thing is, it shouldn't matter that it's a new map. Like, this isn't a new feature or a new patch, so this should be just a simple matter of getting HeroMarine back online. Right,
which hopefully is soon. Thanks to Max Diffie. definite 5-month resub.
That's a long time of dedication. Appreciate you. Make some gross noises while I rub my eyes. Although, I should have said, like, what do you guys think the sound is? It's like when you put the blindfold on, you like reach inside the Halloween box. Like, what is this? It's brains.
Really hear it.
Oh, maybe it didn't get picked up that well. Sometimes I rub my eyes this loud, but yeah, really unfortunate for HeroMarine. Hopefully coming back. You know what's this? The good guy HeroMarine's like, you know what, BaseTradeTV? It's been about 25 minutes since the last ad break. Boy, they sure could use one. And I was thinking, yeah, me too. So we'll see you guys in 2 minutes. All right, folks, so we're just loading into the game. HeroMarine did come back, and there wasn't too much drama with getting this going again. Thank you to Raytheon for the 21-month resub. Go Snoot! Yeah, he's winning right now. But he might not be for long in this game, depending on how things go. But for those who are unfamiliar how the recover game works, because honestly, it's been a while since we've had to use it, so that's a good thing, I guess. This is just reloading the replay, essentially. It's going to fast forward with the blocker. That's what's happening right now. That's why we can't see anything. So the players also can't see anything. And it'll put them both in their shoes, ready to recover the game from the replay as soon as we get back to that point. It's also got a really cool countdown screen, or what do you want to call it?
Overlay?
Video, whatever. The point is this countdown really should be... I feel when you unpause the game, this is what should happen. Not like just the immediate unpause, you know?
Yeah, I agree. People have wanted it to start your ladder games, too.
Oh, like you load into the map and then it's like 3, 2, 1 and starts?
Yep. Yeah. I think it's a little less called for now that you don't have to split your workers, but especially when you had to split your workers. Because people would get a little bit of lag and they'd just be automatically behind. And that was so important in Gold League, but whatever.
So I know that actually you still actually get better effectiveness out of splitting your workers, albeit very, very, very barely. But I just sit there, I'm like, you know what? If I never have to split my workers again, I don't give a fuck. Take that advantage. Take that lead. I don't want it.
Learning how to split my workers, but there was those times where you accidentally did it. You still see it too, because you're right. So Wings of Liberty, definite, you have to do it. Heart of the Swarm, you still wanted to, because they would bug out a lot. And then the Legacy of the Void, there's so many that it's really about controlling 1 or 2 drones that bug out, that you know. But you still want to control them. So you still see, like, occasionally pro gamers have the whole box to 1 mineral patch that messes them up.
You know what is, like, without a doubt, the worst thing for me, actually? If I'm playing random, and I go from playing Zerg to any other race... I'm so used to just spamming like
SD.
Yeah. So like then you'll accidentally click on a worker or all the workers sometimes, and they just stop mining. You're like, well, I want to kill myself now. I hope no one saw that.
Yeah. I hate doing that. Thank you to Mech Shifter for the 4-month resub. Bring in the feels from the Bay Area. Hope everyone is having an awesome week so far. The feels.
The Bay Area? They must be talking about your house.
Hey.
Because you're the Bay. Ha. Yo, so I've had this really annoying bug on Twitch, just as a side note here. One of my favorite streamers, it's her 24th birthday today. And I can't say anything in chat because for 3 days now, anytime I try and type anything in the chat, it tells me that the chat's in English only mode.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that was quick. I loaded in on 2. That was weird.
Oh, good thing I waited a little bit.
Yeah. I was just talking because I was gonna cool story, bro, because it was taking forever to load. But okay, back in the game. We'll save Rifkin's story for later. But yeah, I've got a Twitch bug that's really annoying. Reassessing where we're at. Again, it's pretty much right where we left off. Snoot's got a lot of infestors. HeroMarine's got a lot of ghosts. And actually, I'm really worried about these liberators. While there's a couple of Ravagers, or there should be, yeah, 7 of them, there's not that many Corruptors.
He's getting Marauder slow. Talk about a slow upgrade.
Sorry, that was just so funny. I had to get that out of my system.
Yeah, that's right. It was. Thank you.
Because the Marauder, if you guys didn't get it, like, it slows the units down, but it also came out really late, so you could say that it came out slowly.
Although really it's called Marauder Concussive Shells. concussive shells. Whatever.
What's their actual attack called? Punisher grenades. How would that
Punisher.
work? You're putting a concussive shell on a Punisher grenade? Like, what? Okay, this
they're
is gonna
grenades, don't they?
explode, but it's also gonna, like, get sticky.
I don't know, man.
Oh, this is a problem. The Infested, of course, armored units, very weak to even just Marauder shots, much less Liberator shots. Uh-oh.
But it's only after the fungals are used.
Yeah, that's a bit
Oh,
unfortunate.
damn you.
Actually, EMPs... So this is going to be funny. It's not happening yet, but Snoot's going to hit this point in the game where he's got more minerals than he does gas. So he'll start investing in queens for transfuses. And that's where EMPs would actually be marvelous. But he's going to transfuse on top of the Corruptors, try and keep him alive as he bobs and weaves around, trying to pick up the Liberators. I mean, there's really not that much, but Snoot also doesn't have enough to break it.
He needs better positioning, or just to abandon ship and choose somewhere else.
He's mined out this base. Honestly, he could probably start focusing all on the south side of the map. Like, this base is mined out too. He doesn't need these hatcheries that badly if he secures these ones.
And I'm not even sure he thought about the middle until he just passed by it. Like, that could be taken, you know? So he finally does, and he does have 2 bases that are going to be mining shortly. That was supposed to kill the medevacs, I think, not the rocks, but whatever. Either way, I want to say that HeroMarine's taken a lot of control, too much control even. Stu doesn't have a gas bank, his army is getting, destroyed, maybe.
Well, here's the problem. The Liberators set up, and Stu was trying to walk through them, but the Marines ended up creating a wall with their bodies.
Neuroparasited a Thor. He neuroparasited a Thor that was an anti-air, so it did a lot of damage to the Liberators.
Oh my god, I didn't even catch that, but you're right. Of course, the Thor would blow them away, and you can't auto-target that when it's neuroparasited. This ends up being a really great trade for Snoot, but the problem is he did lose the Ultra, so he doesn't have any more pushing power. As he falls back, maybe starts contemplating 1 or 2 Broodlords. I don't know, but more Thors on the way out of HeroMarine are not a bad choice.
He's not even mining gas. Oh no. Like, literally no other mining. It was all mined out, or the hatchery that just died. Oh lordy.
His gas income has dropped to 44 a minute. That's not good.
Lordy. Yeah,
Well,
that's probably going to end the game. If he had a follow-up to that attack, he might have had a lot of momentum. He's going to depend on Lings, which granted aren't bad against Marauders and Ghosts. But he needs a lot of them.
I'm surprised. This was really well handled out of HeroMarine. I mean, I feel the cool points of this game still go to Snoot. I love that he got away with macro. He took advantage of the golds, but this feels like, yeah, without that gas, there's just nothing to do. Although the funny thing is,
Fungols are doing good work here.
Well, I was gonna actually just mention, before I get too carried away trying to pretend like the game's over, Lings are actually really good against ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not that many scans, I guess, so even though he knows...
Oh no, is this one on me?
Oh, nothing's happening yet.
Uh-oh.
Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening.
Okay, well that one was on me. I definitely felt that lag there.
Okay, well, luckily nothing happened, so... Snoot does lose that base, which is really unfortunate because he was so close to killing so many of those ghosts. But unfortunately, ghosts aren't really the weakest of units, so they do kind of okay in these low-scale engagements. And now Snoot's down to 1 base mining. He manages, because he had a mineral bank, he manages to take another base, but he just can't get good units. And he needs time to build important, effective units like Ravagers.
I love that he burrowed the drones, actually. I think that's a very important detail to how scrappy this game's gotten at the very end.
You know, if Snoot had just a handful of Lings go to that gold base of HeroMarine, that would be crucial.
If Snoot had a handful of drones and gas, that'd be awesome too.
Well, whatever, man.
No, but it's actually surprising. I don't even know if he's recognized it or if this is intentional at this point, because his economy is in such a weird spot. Maybe every mineral counts that much more to him. I really don't know, but you're right. Like these things, they're not badly upgraded. Like they could do a lot of damage very quickly.
See, now it's kind of going back into maybe Snoot's favor a little bit in terms of like these small scale engagements. Blah. But once HeroMarine consolidates, then it's gonna be game over. HeroMarine has too much army. Yeah,
and if it comes down to a base trade too, I mean, just the Marauder's gonna kill through everything so much quicker.
Yeah, look at that. That's gonna be seen, and she's gonna tap out.
Yeah, I mean, the Fungal's great, but there's no follow-up to it. There's no Corsair Bows landing in. And we are going to go to Game 7. Game 7! course, it's going to be Snoot's map pick again. But you know what? This series was so very Snoot favored for so very long. It is really impressive to see HeroMarine actually come back from that sort of early defeat, that early fall behind, if you will.
Next map is going to be Sequencer.
Okay. We're going to go to commercial break, guys. We'll just double check what caused the stream to hiccup there. Hoping that it doesn't happen again here. So sit tight and we'll be back soon. If the stream goes down, it's because I've wanted to just save time and I've restarted it. But it shouldn't go down. I think I know what the problem was, and we'll be back soon. Alright, folks, we're back and getting into game. It is map 7 out of this best of 7. Scores are tied up 3-3, and the winner of this will move on to play in the semifinals tomorrow. But I do want to remind you, before I do these intros, that if you particularly enjoyed any of these players, they're all totally possible. Round of 16, round of 8, round of whatever. With enough votes, they can come back to the finals. It is both a resurrection system. But getting here in the bottom left, we got the Blue Zerg player. It's Team Liquid Snoot.
In the top right, as the Red Terran, it is HeroMarine.
And just to clarify one step further, there are no other matches after this one. This is the last possible match today. Tomorrow will feature another 2 best-of-7s in the semifinals, and then the day after that will be the 10-map grand finals.
Starcraft.
I also really want to get together with some of the pros, and I'm hoping to do this after the semifinals tomorrow, get them on Discord and talk about their opinions on the maps. You've heard ours, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have formulated your own opinions, but it would be great to hear the point of view of someone who will be playing on these maps, potentially professionally.
Potentially professionally. Potentially.
On a side note, what is this bullshit?
What?
I just got an email notification that apparently a package was tried to deliver to my house, and I wasn't there to receive it today. So it's at the mall, and I have to pay $50 to pick it up. But hello, I've been at my desk casting Starcraft all morning. I can see the front door. Nobody's come.
Your mailmen have a conspiracy against you.
You know what? I'm really hoping that in the new place I won't have to worry about this BS. Like, I hate living in the country, man.
Yeah,
I'm so done
they're
with
probably just like, they probably tell the new guys. He's like, oh, I have to go all the way out there, and then ring the doorbell. They're not even there. They just be like, no, just say it. You delivered it, and they weren't there.
I don't even know what this is. Like, I don't even know what I ordered that would. $50? I don't want.
I don't know, man.
I don't want to pay $50 for a mystery package.
Did you Kickstarter something 2 years ago?
Oh, you know what? I actually did. That might be what it is.
Oh, nailed it. That's what it always is.
If only they mailed it, though. Am I right?
Yeah.
You got your bad joke. I got mine. We're even. I don't know if we missed it, by the way. Thank you to Ivan Jovchev for the 16-month resub. We missed Mech Shifter 2? No, that was the Bay Area one. You're right.
I didn't say anything.
No, you're right. You're right. Don't worry about it.
I love that. That's such an automatic answer. It's basically gonna become its own thing.
I want to be clear. I haven't been trained, guys. It was just comedy, okay? It was comical.
Anyway. So Sequencer. This map. Oh yeah. Okay. It was the map that eventually went in favor of Snoot, but HeroMarine also had a very good map play style on it, similar to the one we saw last game. I don't know, man, like HeroMarine is fixing the problems of the games he's played in these maps last time, and I feel good about his chances here. It was really 1 or 2 things, and his push would have been devastating, momentum building, and then it would have been maybe his game. So if it's played out the same way, then I actually have a lot of... I would bet on HeroMarine to win this, but it might not play out the same way. We do have a Hellion attack, but no armory. Nope, just kidding, there's the armory. So this is going to be the build that he first did on the very first time we played on Karis Passage, which is the Hellion drops first, then the Hellbat push, and a Liberator distract.
Be interesting to see. Quick note too, people are asking where they can go vote for this stuff. The votes aren't available yet, guys. We didn't want you voting like now because you haven't seen all the games and all the maps. We're gonna wait till tomorrow's stream is at the end of the stream. This gets a couple of drones caught off guard. 5 to start's not bad. And let's not forget, these can still get out of there with the queen only just popping. That medevac's got no damage on it. 8 drones. And then this base under attack. Oh, go, 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 go,
go. Yep. This is what caught Snoot off guard the first time it was done against him.
That's really unfortunate though. Like that is the difference of like 2 seconds of attention span from HeroMarine was killing drones versus not killing a single drone.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. There should be a Hellbot follow-up to this though. There we go. The Liberator's even gonna come in here soon too. Transform, roll out. Transformers say, right?
Yes, zombie grub. That's what Transformers say.
Thanks. So no matter what, the Hellbot's gonna be able to like take out a good number of lings, but you know, not devastating amounts here. And this was not as tricky, even though there were 9 drones killed.
Sometimes I wish you would like ham up like the dumb girl roll. Sometimes like just for moments like that. Like Optimus, transform and roll out. That's what they say, right? No? I could have sworn that's what they said.
I'm not even sure how much dumber I could make it. Like I could say it wrong, I guess.
Autobots.
Transform and pig out. That's what they say, right?
That was great. That was actually that was great. I love that. We got double hatcheries coming down, 1 macro and 1 at the pseudo third. Again, this is that low yield base. I would say Snoot would be one of the people I'd love to get feedback on at this point. He's played several macro games on these lower income, I guess, expansions, and I'm wondering what his thoughts are on them.
Yeah. I really like the way Snoot has played to the maps in the current map pool, so I think he'd be the most interesting guy to talk to about expansion priorities in these new maps. But the main attack, initial attack, whatever is over, we are going to the stim attack, which is probably more the main attack. And Snoot was a bit clumsy, you know, it wasn't the cleanest of kills because there's just so much going on, but he does hold now at 76 drones, 4 bases. Upgrade's a little bit farther behind. What?
I can't get the stupid thing out of my head.
I'm gonna say that next time we go to a restaurant.
He sure is greedy with those drones. He really transformed and pigged out. Like,
I'm gonna wait months or something at Austin, and then we're gonna go to a restaurant. You're gonna forget entirely about it, and I'm gonna say it.
And the worst part is I'm gonna do a spit take. I already know that that's gonna be the case. All right, well, 4th CC's finished up for HeroMarine. We'll see if he moves that over south or, I guess, over to the west. Some of the tumors get cleaned up. This isn't bad. I think he knows that there's a lot of banelings waiting for him, so he's going to play it a little bit safe. Helling's get caught in the middle. Ooh. It's unfortunate because he had this really nice 1-1 timing, but not really presented with the opportunity to use it. And that's not on him. That's just on Snoot's really good defense.
Yeah, Snoot's is a excellent defense, but he does. It seems like Snoot's thing is that he has excellent defense early game, mid game's okay, but then he actually just gets kind of wearied out by the late game. And HeroMarine is really starting to take advantage of that, playing later and later in the late game, more and more passive in the mid game, which is sometimes too big of a downside. You know how much creeps they can get, how much they can go to Broodlords and Ultras, but Snoot made a mistake last game, and HeroMarine might be able to replicate that here. This time, on Sequencer, he also does not go for any tanks, which ended up being kind of useless, if you recall. They just got sniped. And, the ones he rebuilt just weren't very useful. So I think he's playing a bit cleaner of a game.
Mutilus, oh, sorry, what are you giggling at there?
I see you.
Again, if you guys are watching the YouTube VOD, sorry, you do miss out on stuff. You gotta be here for Twitch chat. You're gonna miss out on it. I guess a kind of cool Twitch advertisement, though. If you guys do watch your stuff on YouTube, if you've ever been curious, Twitch has a really cool rechat feature where if you watch the videos kind of like what you would do with on YouTube, but you watch them on Twitch, it will also replay chat for you. So you can see some of these dumb comments we make to each other sometimes. But anyways, Muta's coming out finally, so a way to chase down these medevacs. But I'm concerned. HeroMarine's actually got a really big push. There's an attack down to the bottom side that does distract from said push, and while he might lose the medevacs for it, this gives him a lot of positioning. Potentially, if he had sniped off those queens, that would have been amazing, but misses out on the opportunity.
Aliens are rolling off of creep, but okay, they're at the splits. That was not very good by Snoot.
No, this is also like the one area that doesn't have creep though, so I also don't blame him. Like,
yeah, this game. So he changed his expansion path from the last time they played. He just kind of focused on the far right. This time on the left, his creep spread has also changed because of it too. Whereas creep spread was non-existent to the very, very far left, but it was encompassing the middle. HeroMarine is also doing a mid-game attack, but mind you, he's already gotten a 4th base. It's a little bit different. It's kind of stuck in a corner, even if it's off of creep, and that did go better for Snoot that time.
Yeah, and even off creep here, you can continue to push on in. The Mutalisks, of course, aren't being shredded to bits, and HeroMarine just lost a lot of army supply.
Yeah, that was not a very good engagement right there. So it's too bad, too. So he's down 30, 40 army supply, and Muta's count starting to rise. He does not have the same missile turret setup that he had, so the game's not going on that long. But as I said, he has a 4th base, so it's not, you know, roll in and win for Snoot here.
No. Shout out to Terminator in chat, by the way. It says, thanks to the zombie of sweet burn, I've never had so many notifications on my Twitter. That says that poor guy who has like 5 followers just probably got like 100 like likes and retweets and comments on that.
You know, that guy just straight up said that it was a good burn.
Well, I mean, if you get
I applaud his sincerity.
I applaud that bailing hit. That's a nice flip he made those Marines do.
360, mate.
I mean, this is actually pretty bad. When Snoot's already doing well, that's one thing, but he's doing well and he's starting to embrace like TLO levels of special tactics. You really got to watch out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is going to be a very good tactic, I think, on Sequencer. Bailing bombs all day. Planetary just cannot stand up to the might of the Mutalisk. And that is picked off. HeroMarine needed that. Okay, we're good. It's fine.
This
nope, not
might
for these
catch...
Marines.
I would have liked if you'd only used 2 and not all 4 there, but maybe I'll catch some more later. He does have other bailings burrowed around the place. He's got to be careful, though, because you don't want to put them anywhere close to... Oh, that wasn't that good, though. That didn't hit you don't want to put them near creep. You do that, the Terran's going to be scanning for creep anyways, as we can see, so yeah, he won't be able to be too cheeky and too effective.
42 bailings are on the way. I'm not sure HeroMarine has gotten to a good enough army. He's not maxed out. There really aren't so many Widow Mines, and they're all very far behind.
The Mutas just are too numerous. Jeez, 25 coming in. The Thors didn't stand a chance.
God. Yeah. It seems that whenever HeroMarine really tries to have any sort of pressure before like 5 bases, it just doesn't seem to work out that well.
Yeah.
And the Widow Mines being so far back was also a big problem. I mean, he got really crushed.
Someone chat saying about the DreamHack Austin, they'll have Starcraft, question mark? Yeah, it's going to be a WCS thing for Starcraft. We're going, for sure. We don't really have any information regarding like casting or anything. I don't think we are. But we're going for as fans at the very least. I think you and I are planning to hit every North America Starcraft event this year, yeah?
Yeah, the Starcraft, yeah. So Montreal and Austin.
And the ones we create was kind of what I was going to get at.
Oh. Yeah, I guess. I guess I'll attend those.
We don't even count on your own on your radar. Damn.
Oh, my bad. I was just more thinking that people might be confused because I think Denver has one, but Denver doesn't. Anyway, I cover up story aside. HeroMarine is still really having to recover from that one really terrible battle. I mean, he has his 4th base back down on location, but he's still down 30, 40. Supply.
Yeah. I mean,
Snoot has expanded.
I think the thing too is Snoot's not really felt pressure to go for Hive. Like the infestation pit just comes down. He's been doing so well on layer attack. Maybe the 3-3 is finally what signaled him to maybe use some of that bank for said Hive, but I mean, I think he can win the game with what he has.
Yeah, these engagements just not been going very well.
I mean,
we're back to a decent Widowmine count, and maybe they'll get the good shots this time.
right, and the thing is, like, you won't even need all of them to hit. The Thor gets a little bit of splash on the Mutas, 3 Widowmines hit and finish the rim off. I mean, suddenly the game is more playable, but Sue's trying to bait out the hits. He knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing.
A lot more Banelings on the way. Oh, wait. Oh, we're up. Hello. Hi. Is it working? Okay, then... Let's get this done and over with. So yeah, you know, it's really unfortunate because it kind of seemed like this would be the end of the game anyway, and it's just could have hung on for a minute longer. But right, we're in a position that HeroMarine might just not be able to claw out of. I mean, down 100 supply, look at this huge army that's coming in here. I guess the rocks are holding on for a little while longer, but not for much longer. Kindness plating is on the way, Hive is done. This base is so close to HeroMarine, yet isn't even really being touched. If it does, I guess that's when the Mutas come to the right side, and he's still screwed either way. This is absolutely in Snoot's control, so I think HeroMarine knew that as well. There's some talks about maybe recovering game, maybe in, you know, thinking that HeroMarine would like the miss micer he did potentially when Rifkin was lagging out to be, you know, non-issue. But I think I'm not sure there was any, to be honest. And then of course, HeroMarine's been in a desperate position for the last 4 or 5 minutes, I would say. Just never able to get a very good fight at all. So, Muta's just taking control of the main base. This is the last game, and that is GG. Well played, good luck tomorrow. Good guy here, Marine. So. Yeah, unfortunately I have I reduce the game sounds when I'm not streaming so I can hear the co-caster better, especially if it's lagging. Whoa. OBS is like lagging super bad for me. Okay, now we're good. Whatever. So yeah, the volume was just low, it wasn't muted. In my hurry, I forgot to compensate. Okay, so that's the end. So, yeah, that's it. Rifkin is on the phone right now. You know, that's the only internet he can take control of, and that's going to be it. So luckily it did happen towards the end of a winning situation for Snoots and the end of the day as well. This is the last best of 7 that we're going to do. Tomorrow is going to be 2 other best of 7s for the semifinals, but there's not really a winner. There's no more prize pool after today, or for tomorrow rather. A little bit more in the future. So no prize pool for tomorrow that they're going to increase their prize. They just, you know, take what they did, get today, and be happy. But it's another opportunity to look at the maps, feel not, you know, much pressure about winning and more just about experimenting what they can do about the maps. And then the next day, the grand finals are going to be what the vote-ins are for. So if you guys really enjoyed any of these maps, any of these players, remember that. Bring up the discussion, talk about it everywhere you can, and then get ready to eventually stake your vote on one of those. So we can have the all maps played grand finals on today's Thursday. So that'll be a lot of fun, and that'll be worth, I think, I want to say $1,000. That'll be worth more money, whoever is playing in that one. So just remember that in your mind, and of course we'll elaborate more tomorrow when we're back and hopefully up and running, no problem. So just do the end game shout outs, since I don't really want to bring up the dashboard to do ads. Lazy. I thank you all for watching, especially through the lag and all that. It's very unfortunate it happened, but hey, it's life. Follow the channel down below. Thank you to all the subs and resubs and donations that we all got. Of course, donations are still going towards the live event fundraiser, and bits still go to us and all that jazz. Follow me on Team Liquid. Blah. Follow me at Liquid Red. Follow me on Twitter at CG Gaming, on Twitch YouTube ZombieGrub. Follow me on Patreon as well if you want to check that out. I think that it'll be linked in the chats. And look at the Amazon links down below if you're looking to buy anything.
That won't add anything to you, but will help me out. Follow Rifkin on Riff_Kings and the Base Trade Twitter, BaseTradeTV, and YouTube in case you missed any of the VODs and are looking to see what other maps were, maybe from yesterday, the day before that, then you can go to the BaseTradeTV YouTube. And that, I think, is about it. Let me make sure here. Yep, that's it. All right. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Yeah, I didn't miss anything, so bye, guys. Gonna host Nate's. See you tomorrow.